able to see my screen still?
Yep.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'll reshare this. Okay. Sorry about the glitch, guys.
It's on recording mode now, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll just move on. Okay. Okay. Now, when we talked about job search, so there's a very fundamental question that we have to ask. And the question is, who is the person who's looking for a job? Who is the person who's looking for the employee, right? So there are two parts of the job. One is the employer and the employee, right? And that's why we talk about the who in the job search, right? So one critical thing that you need to understand is that you should, as in you, Pratibha or Sharon, you should consider yourself as a product. So equate yourself to an Apple iPhone, right? And essentially, the people need to know what is the feature, what is the skills, what is it the value that you can give to the customer or the employer. So it sounds a little rude, but then you say, hey, you know what, am I a product? No, but you're a human being who's offering skills, which basically is your talent in data analysis, in project management, production management, etc., etc. So usually what we don't do is this is what I observed as a hiring manager in the industry, that people don't think that way. So essentially they say, hey, you know what, I've got data analysis skill and hire me, right? So the challenge is that we should think in a way that we say, hey, this is what the customer wants, which is the employer wants, when they define their needs in a job advertisement or a job posting, and then try to tailor our skills, which is presented in a resume or a cover letter, in that format. And present would be in words, in visuals, and then in the interview, and so on and so forth. So what we are encouraging you to do is to try to get into a paradigm shift of your thinking, right? Marketing your skills, right? Which basically means that you will have to satisfy the customer's needs, right? Which will lead to successful employment. Yeah. Which means that you need to understand how the customer, the employer, wants you to be used in their organization, right? So for example, when many times people say, hey, you know what, I'm a data analyst, get me a job, right? So now data analysis is a very complex area, wherein it's a combination of mathematical analysis skills, and then there's a tool as well. So when you say, I'm a data analyst, hire me, the employer is saying, hey, I wanted a data analyst, but a person who understands Power BI, can use Power BI for my use. So if you go and say, hey, I'm a data analyst and a great hardworking person, but I don't know Power BI, it's a failed sales attempt. You're not marketing yourself right. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Questions here? Anybody? No?
Yeah, maybe just I want to add a few more points to this. So just don't look at this who as sounds like a stupid question sometimes, right? Who we know we are applying for a job, and we know that who is going to hire us and so on. But that's not the who we are talking about. The who varies from organization to organization and the people who are hiring, right? Their expectations are different. Though the job could be same, you might be hired for a project manager role, or you might be hired for a DevOps role, but it varies from people to people. Their expectations are very different. You as a product, in the sense, not a real product, but a human value that you are bringing to the organizations. Don't think that, yeah, I know this technology, I have these skill sets, so I'm going to offer that. But look at from the other's perspective, right? Who is going to hire the person who is hiring you, what they are looking for, and do you qualify for that role is what we are talking about. That's the who specifically we are looking at here, right?
Any questions? Subesh?
No, it's clear.
Is it clear? Okay,
Yeah.
so give us feedback, please, because if we are not making sense, please stop us. We'll always answer the question.
Yeah.
Just one question.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, just I do get the gist of what you're trying to say, and just wanted to know, like, I do understand for a data analyst, there could be 1,000 tools,
Yeah.
and each company will require will have different tools. So are we supposed to just keep on learning all the tools, or do we have any specific or general tool that which will help us to get be in a general queue?
Sure. So definitely. So there are some popular tools in the market, right? So that's one segment which we'll try to cover a little later with Praveen, and then
Yeah,
we can give some details there as well.
yeah, there is a slide explaining about the roles and responsibilities. So just give you a short answer. There is every company use their own tools to do the job. But the thing is, there are some general tools that they are expecting you to know. Maybe the popular ones will be it's worth investing time on to learn, and rest of the things can learn on the fly when you're at job.
Thanks.
So know the concept and pick up a popular tool and most commonly used and learn them.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing to do.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have tools and then you have tools, right? The problem is that I mean, you cannot possibly learn all the tools, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You have to narrow down the search. You have to look at the popular tools, and we'll talk about a few of them in the later slides, which Praveen is covering for us. So that should give you more intel. And again, as I said, this session might not give us all the information as you expect. So we can go into the tool side of things for sure in a separate session, but we'll give you some indicators in the later part of this session for sure. Is that okay, Sharon?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure,
Right.
I'm happy.
Cool. Any other questions, guys?
No.
You okay?
Just a point to add to the first slide, Prashant.
Yeah.
So the New Zealand market now, it was tough to get a job here. So getting a job is a good thing. But so you know that how difficult to get a dream job. We could not dream about getting a dream job because getting a job itself was so difficult. And now it's the time for everyone to try for your dream jobs. If you are on a domain and you want to jump to the area where you really want to work, then this is the right time. Try to get the skills, and companies are ready to take risk at this point because they need resources. Yeah, that's just one point.
That's a good point. Yeah. Cool. Well, just move on to the next one. So this is a very what's the word for it? People sometimes don't understand the hiring process in New Zealand, right? And that's why we're using the the buzz phrase called apply, no reply. But why? So people like, why the hell didn't I even get a response, right? So I think one of the issues that we used to have as a hiring unit, we used to, let's say I used to hire business analysts, right? I put up a role in, let's say, Seek, LinkedIn, and all the job portals, and we used to get about 100 plus applications. Now the problem that used to happen is people used to generally, and don't get me wrong here, especially people from the Indian diaspora, we used to get people just randomly putting in their applications. Now, when I say just randomly putting the application, the problem was that they probably have a very different background in terms of the the job. B, their cover letters, which help us understand why you are suitable for the job, used to be very generic and usually is a copy paste saying, oh, I'm a hardworking person. We will talk about cover letters, by the way, later on. But the problem was that we get frustrated as hiring managers or talent acquisition specialists, who are the people who do the first scan of your application. So then what happens? That's one. People get frustrated. We are just not eligible. You're just pumping in, and possibly creating e-waste. We get annoyed. We say, hey, what? Let's not even bother responding to the person. That's not probably the right thing to do, because it doesn't do very good for the organization's reputation. Saying, hey, what? They don't respond. They're really useless in terms of even responding to us. Now, so if you look at the hiring process here, and when we put in a job, we do review it. So the review is done at two levels, right? The first level is any organization will have an HR meaning human resources, and they have a sub function called talent acquisition. Okay, in talent acquisition, they usually have a person who scans resumes. They use uh, search functionality in Word, which say, hey, if I'm looking for a business analyst, somebody applies, and they will go and search on the resume. Is there any business analysis as a word keyword being put in? And they usually would read a little bit and then push it to hiring managers like me, saying that, hey, Prashant, this is a suitable profile. Now, people like me, we have to really take the job seriously, right? What we do is we actually read the resume and the cover letter, and many times, because we read so many resumes and cover letters, we can actually make out whether the person has even read the job description or even mapping to the job description which we had so diligently crafted. You know what I mean? So then we get annoyed and we do a reject, even though we will probably write in the reason for rejection saying, hey, doesn't map to the requirement. The talent acquisition specialist who's sitting somewhere here will say, you know what, why bother? Okay, which obviously leads to you getting frustrated, and you probably in the social setup that we get mocked at. Hey, you've been applying for 6 months, why the hell? And obviously you get even more frustrated. Now there is a way to get feedback, and I'll tell you how that happens. The reason is because I've seen many people who have applied for a role, have been rejected by us, but not given feedback. But what they do is they actually get to us. When I'm saying get to us, they get to hiring managers or talent experts, giving a unique reason as to why they should get a feedback. Okay, one is the formal process of requesting. Second is, hey, saying that, hey, I thought I'm really eligible, but I did not get it. How you communicate is key, right? How you effectively communicate is key. And that's where the challenge lies in many people from our Indian diaspora. We just say, I need a response, and we keep on calling, we keep on texting, but we're not actually making the person respond effectively. And that leads to a lot of frustration. Sometimes you're just not suitable. Hence, you will not get a reply. But standard organizations will have a standard template saying, hey, you're not suitable. And then boom, you say, hey, what the hell? Again, I'm not suitable at all. And we'll tell you why in the next slide as to how you write up a resume or a cover letter. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions?
Sada, I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
If usually we write a cover letter, right? As you said, most of it's an general format.
Copy paste.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah.
So it's when I'm sending in cover letter, do the hiring managers or anyone who is HR, do they read it or just go for the keywords?
No. So as I said, as I explained, it's a good question, Sumesh. Very good question. So the first part, as the talent acquisition specialist, who's basically a administration person in the HR team, they go for a keyword search and they quickly go through a scan. They don't really understand a lot. I'm sorry, but that's my experience. But me as a hiring manager will definitely read it. And the moment you have copy pasted it, see, as I said, if I put one job ad out, Subesh, I get 100 applications. So if I have hired 20 people in my past, what happens? I've seen so many cover letters, and if it's a common copy paste, I get annoyed. The reason is because we want a person to tell us why you think you're suitable for the job. So put that effort, and we will tell you how to write up a cover letter, why you should be, what kind of crafting you should do. Okay. So take that time, take that effort, and you know what? Even if you write the you write one of the best cover letters, one of the best resumes, and the best pitch, you may still get rejected because there's always somebody who's better than you. But there might be one instance when you are better than everybody else, and that's what we're trying to do. So we have to work hard to make that resume look good, be on point, and the cover letter really making sense to the hiring manager. You know
Okay,
what?
clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any
Yeah.
other questions? It's a good question, Subish. It's a very good question. I really like that question. Anybody else want to ask questions? No. Okay. Well, any other comments, Praveen, Sharma? Anybody?
Prashanthata,
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah. Vishnu, perfect.
Regarding not replying to the you know the resume you guys are getting, shall I say the reason? One of the reason is the lack of HR person to reply as well, lack of resources in there as well.
It's true, Vishnu. So I didn't want to admit it in this way, but you're right. The reason is because see, HR is also a job. Talent Act is also a job. So, for example, I'll give an example. So 2 days ago, I was looking for a service design specialist, senior BA, and blah blah blah, in my team. Now we've been trying to get people to apply, and guess what happened? I had connected somebody to the HR, and they had formally written an email to them, and it took 4 days for me to get that resume which I was expecting. The reason is because the person was not free. She had at least 300 to 400 applications to look at, and that is for multiple jobs. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's where networking comes to the picture. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's a good one. It's all very good experience. I see, the more you talk about it, the more others will benefit, because you say, hey, this happened to me as well. Is this the reason? So you're kind of opening up those ideas.
Yeah.
And it's a good question. Well done. Any other questions? Any other fantastic questions?
Just to just a point about that. So the timing is really important. Yeah, from my experience, when I searched for a job, I went to the first company and gave the resume. That was a week. The other guy who was managing the team were leaving. So, so if they need it, the HR really have the pressure, they will definitely going to pick someone. So at that time, if your resume is in their inbox, then definitely you have a chance. Yeah, it's all a little bit of luck as well.
Yeah, you're true. And I said, so as I said, if anybody in this group is a service design specialist, send me the resume. I'll call you for interview on Monday at 8:30 in the morning. I guarantee you that, because we've been searching for 6 months. If there's an integration analyst in this meeting room, you send me the resume. I'll call you at 8:30 in the morning on Monday morning. So that's what Praveen was saying, and it's about timing. It's about demand supply. 6 months I've been searching for that particular person. Imagine that. But that's why we're talking about matching the skills to the needs of the business, right? That's very key. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, move to the next slide. Cool. All right. Excellent. Okay. So one of this is a very, politically incorrect or a tricky topic. Okay. So we're calling it is all about. It's not all about your race. Right? Everybody talks about racism, right? So hence, if you see the imagery out here, and if you look at the the words which are used here, it's obviously Tereo, which is Maori, and then we talk about Hindi, and we talk about race, right? So guess what? We have to culturally acclimatize ourselves, right? So New Zealand is a different country. It's not India. It's not Malaysia. It's not Bangladesh, for the matter, right? So the thing is, we come with a mindset that, hey, you know what? I'm an Indian person. I've got this talent. I was a manager in India, blah blah blah. And you come here and you say that, hey, I want to be a manager here. The problem is, you have to understand the culture of the country in terms of work culture, the social culture, etc., etc., etc. Right? And because management is a very people-focused role, if you don't understand the culture in terms of how we work, how we email, how we communicate, how we say hi's and hellos, and how we compliment people, how we reprimand people, how we tend to not be able to do the job right. So if you're looking from an organization's perspective, they'll say, hey, you know what, a person who does not have experience or is not culturally acclimatized, how will they do the job? So then they will have to manage the manager, as an example, right? Which is not a great thing to do, because managers are very difficult to manage, right? They're pretty much like any of the employees, they can be a pain in the ass. So what I'm trying to land here, is that please try to acclimatize. And the flip side of it, just think about your experience back in India. Now, we're all Mallus primarily, or so if you find, I'm in Kerala, so we how many times have we bullied a Bengali who comes to Kerala to work, right? We don't prefer to interact as much. If we find a person from a foreign origin coming into India, we'll call him Saipe and all those things, and we kind of keep a distance, and definitely will not let the person to be part of the management team, but maybe part of the team, but we'll probably give a preference to the other person. Yeah, but where do you win? Where do you win, or where do you actually overcome that is something which we'll talk about in the next slide. However, there is this whole concept of country of origin, right? So hear carefully. So if you, let's say, you're buying a phone which is made in USA, yeah, you usually say, hey, you know what, made in USA, it'll be good, not like, so we'll buy it. But the moment you say it's made in China, I'll say, hey, you know what, it'll not have good life, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Apple iPhones are made in China now, but it's stamped, designed in USA, so you end up spending $1,500 there, right? So, but India and other countries who are known as developing nations have a handicap, and you belong to that country, right? But slowly and steadily, with a extremely good demonstration of your skills, which can be technical, non-technical, blah, 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 you actually can overcome that. Okay. And then comes to the point of comparable labor market. So I'll give an example here. About 4 years ago, a friend of mine, she came from Bangalore, India, right? She had worked in Britain, UK. She had worked in London as a marketing manager for Vodafone. She came here 2 months down the line. Sorry, she actually got the role of an account manager with Spark. You know why? Because she worked in a comparable labor market, which means countries which have similar working culture, similar economic standards, similar socioeconomic, working environments. So if you were to work in Singapore and you come here, you will get a job, easy. Unless you come from India and have experience in an organization which is interacting with the comparable labor market as well. So if you're from PwC India, or KPMG, or EYs, or Accenture, and so on, you have a very good chance to be part of at least the technical team. Management, I told you about the whole acclimatization issue. As an example, in my organization, 26 managers, 3 Indians, brown skins. One me, my boss, and then another person here who actually is leaving, by the way. So you got to accept it, you got to overcome it, and we talk about overcoming it in the next few slides. And then you forge ahead. You cannot give up, because you have all sacrificed a lot, invested a lot of time, money, effort, etc., to come here, and you're here to make a life out of it. I'm talking about people who have actually, come on a visa and so on and so forth. I'm not talking about examples like Aarti, who are already here. They've been here for some time, but that's a different discussion. Okay. Any questions here, guys?
No.
Okay, makes sense? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Have you experienced it? Okay, cool. Right. So we talked about resumes, right? So I think Vishnu, you did ask about a question: do they even read it? Well, the answer is some of them read it, but you got to make it attractive. For example, if you have an Apple iPhone, right? If you package it like a Nokia 3310, who on earth will be interested to read it, man? Yeah, Vishnu? So and even if you actually make it pretty, you got to still we that basically makes us open the case and we go inside, right? So again, the resume is again a marketing tool that you have for you, right? So what you need to do, Vishnu, and everybody else, is that you have to read the job advertisement very carefully, because people like me, or people in the hiring space, we take months to actually develop a job description, which is that 15 page or a 16 page piece, which we talk about. Hey, I want this, I want this, I want this, and we're not bullshitting. We really mean it. It's not. It's not. It's not a joke to to ignore it, because that's when we say, what, we don't want to, you know, we don't want to waste time on you. Hence, we'll reject you. Promise. I will reject the person if he's. I remember somebody sent me a resume. He was applying for a BA job, but he was actually a test analyst. He did not have the courtesy to change the resume to tell me why he's a business analyst. I don't mind transferable skills at all. So at least respect us. We are. I know you're frustrated that you sent the apply no reply conundrum. Hey, true, but you can't give up. You have to, because the problem is that the moment you send a resume like that, I will remember you next time usually, and we have abilities to blacklist you in that the HRM system that we have. We'll say, what, this guy is. So there's one person in who's very famous or infamous in the organization. 17 applications for probably 18 different roles. We don't want to waste our time. We blacklist that individual. Be careful. The other thing which we want to talk about is that you are applying for a role. In India, we probably have a person doing a testing role and a delivery role and a blah, blah, blah. But in big organizations or standard size organizations, we are doing a project manager's role as an IT, cost, quality, scope. Test management is test strategy, test plans, testing, so on and so forth. BA is, you do requirements, right? So understand that. Okay. Third point, resumes don't need to be 15 pages. We don't have the time to read it. There is something known as an executive summary, which is two pages. Okay, we'll share some samples with you guys. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll show it to you how it happens. Okay, we might run out of time, but I'm just being very cautious about the entire need which will come out of the discussion. Second, the fourth point, tailor the need. So if you are a test analyst and you've had experience as a test analyst and a business analyst in India, if you're applying for a test analyst role, make sure that you make the resume in a way that it sounds like you're a test analyst. And the thing is, the talent from India has the capability. It's just that they don't market themselves well. We have so much of knowledge. There's so much. I mean, I can technically replace two of my non-Indian or non-Asian staff with probably one. They do the role of 1.5 FTEs, full-time equivalent employee, which basically means the business can save that cost, and we basically get better productivity. It's a good thing for us. But if you don't market it, if you don't work hard to say, hey, this is why I'm good, you're not helping yourself. Okay? And yet you will fail. You will fail once, twice, thrice. Try again. Be resilient and improve on every attempt. Don't give up. You want to do yoga, you want to play badminton, you want to go jogging, you want to do whatever, come back and bounce back and try again. Improvement is the only way to go. Okay, makes sense? Questions?
No.
Chada, I just want to ask you a few questions regarding the resume. Is it the right page, or do we have another session for the sample resume?
So I think we might just run out of time to show sample resumes. I really wanted to, but when we did the timing of this thing, we couldn't do it because we had to go through it. So what we can do, Vishnu, for you is you can reach out to us, okay?
Okay.
And we can give it a good go, because this team which is there, me, Praveen, and the guest speakers, they've always helped people to change their resume to suit a role.
Yeah.
Crafted it, we can do that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question regarding resume. How important for a person to add his hobbies and you know, hobbies in your in his resume, how much value it will have?
Okay. So there's no harm in doing that. And if you ask me how important, hey, we don't want a workhorse. We want a human being, right? We want to know for sure that you are more than just doing work. So put it in, but put it at the right place, right? So don't say I am a badminton player and I'm coming for a test analyst job. Yeah, obviously it's common. So there's a segment to it. So as I said, the sample will tell you where to put it, and we'll help you do that. Okay, so don't worry about that part. But it's okay to do it. You can tell, hey, I love photography. I love eating, which is you obviously say, hey, I like dining out. I like blah blah blah. So you can always talk about it. It's fun because we want a human being in the mix, not a robot. Okay, we are really keen because in the interview process we will ask you about you. What's you beyond work? How do you deal with stress? What's your how do you spend time outside of work? So, and we want you to be part of the team. When it comes to a team, we need to make sure that we are a team fit. You know what I mean? So if you're a person who's a very nerdy kind of a guy, which is probably okay for a dev team, no offense to anybody, but
Yeah.
we need to know that we're part of the gang. If you have somebody who's an extreme blogger, and the rest of the team is all about having discussions about economic issues and blah blah blah, then you kind of have a disconnect. So that spoils the team dynamics, which is not good for a person like me who's managing a team, because it affects the productivity of the team and kind of creates chaos. So please do it. The answer is yes, but it depends. It should be at the right place. That's not the highlight. It's a supplemental information which we expect from you.
Awesome.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Any more questions? Good question, Ashley. Yeah. Can we move on? Guys, I hope people are not sleeping.
No.
No,
No.
Yeah, Veena,
very
you
awake.
okay?
Oh, yeah. Fine. Perfectly fine.
Good. Excellent. I'll move on to the next slide, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, Vishnu, you did ask about the cover letter, right? So, read.
Not me.
Okay, sorry. Was it Subish? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Subish. So sorry about that, Subish. Hey, so there's a reason why we write cover letters. But and this is something which Praveen and I were discussing about. You say, hey, do we really need to write a cover letter? My answer was yes. But sometimes, as Praveen rightly pointed out, if you have those skills, which are, let's say, for example, if you were to tell me, Prashant, I'm a cybersecurity expert. You know what? Prove it to me. I don't even give a rat's as to what you're showing in the cover letter. Pardon my language. Because that's a skill which is niche in the market. We are struggling to get those people. And Praveen will delve about the skills and the technology, which is really hot and will be hot in the next 3-4 years time, right? So we'll talk about. So when you're shaping up your hard work, shape that way. Okay. So when we're talking about cover letters, you need to tell the employer why you are good, why you're suitable, which is referring to the resume, referring to JD. Okay. And keep it brief. Cover letters can't be. I've seen cover letters which are 3 pages long. If I get 100 applicants, and if the talent act is kind enough to send me 20, I have to read 20 3-page cover letters. Nah, not required. We can talk about it later on when we meet. That's why we have interviews. So brevity is important, and the details are there in the resume, which is again 2 pages. Don't put 100 pages. They will ask if they need more information in an interview.
Yeah.
5-page, 10-page cover letters are old school in my view. Praveen, you want to add something here?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's right. So just one letter, one page is more than enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go for it, Swati.
I just wanted to add, usually what happens is when people write resumes, they tend to put the exact same content in cover letters, which doesn't really reflect, or the cover letter's point of view is it has to be your own journey, and resume should be more technical. so that there is the difference. So if you have to say, what I tend to do is I keep 3 highlights for each of my experiences that I have to tell in the resume, and then I elaborate that in the cover letter, so that there is no well, you don't tend to copy paste this exact same content, which kind of becomes boring at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So we'll go on to this next point. So as I said, we need to map the job requirement to your skills, and the resume and the cover letter go hand in hand. So they said, give the highlight. Say, as Swati said, give the highlight. Hey, this is why. This is me. So I feel like, let's say I was looking for a data scientist about 3 months ago. I stumbled upon a resume and which said, hey, I'm a data scientist, use Python, did data mining, did for a transformation project. I got the 4 things which I was looking for. Guess what? We called her an interview. Thankfully, she was a good candidate. Got her in. 4 days, we hired the person. So you got to be in your face, but for that you need to craft it the right way. Okay. Point number 4 is a little funny, but I intentionally put it there. Okay. Hey, everybody is honest and hardworking. Nobody will say that I am dishonest, I am not hardworking, I am lazy. Okay. True.
Yeah.
Do we ever tell anybody? Okay, we might tell our parents, we might tell the wife or a friend, you know what? I don't want to work hard. But you never tell the employee. So when you put the cover in the cover letter, say I'm an honest, hardworking person, we're like, we get really bored. We can, or probably use a different word. That's fine. Because the copy paste, we get disengaged. That is why we say be original. Right? Hey, I know it's boring. I know when you apply for 100 jobs, if you want to tailor it, it's really get frustrating. But hey, this is difficult. Nobody said. But the only thing is, once you get the idea of how to apply, once you get your good, great job, then the whole networking story comes into the picture, which we'll talk about very soon. Okay. Last but not the least, do not bullshit on your resume. That's BS. Okay. The person reading the cover letter is not an idiot. We know we are there for a reason. We can make out that you've actually copy pasted, especially when the flow is not correct. I say, oh my goodness, this guy's copy pasted from somebody. Take some time. It takes maybe 1 hour, 1 hour, 2 hours maximum to do it. It's okay. Just do it. You can create templates of, for example, test specialist, right? Create templates for a role of a test specialist or a project manager or a business analyst. And then once you get, and to be honest, I can help you with that as well. We'll give you the template. But again, the problem is that you might start doing copy paste again. You know what I mean? So avoid, and that's probably one of the, and I know this is a non-PC statement. It's probably the fault of the education system that we've been, we've been subject to in India. We do a lot of copy paste. But when you came here, damn it, it's so difficult. Be original. Plagiarism, they'll catch you. They'll, put you through the ethics committee and so on and so forth, right? I mean, I'm talking about AUTs and the University of Auckland and all. It's such a pain. But guess what? That helps you learn. Similarly, this will help you in the interview process. Sorry, any questions there? In the cover letter, I just wanted to tell you that we are talking about interviews in the next slide.
So
Can I add? Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it, please.
yes, Swati.
Okay. So another thing is, please try to match every single keyword within the JD to your resume when you're applying for a specific job, because that itself helps you initially to filter out when it even reaches to the HR to begin with. So those keywords within the JD, make sure that is listed in your resume as well.
Absolutely. Cool.
Over to you.
Yeah, somebody was going to ask a question.
Yeah,
Please.
just want to add point here. So with the cover letter and resume, a good LinkedIn profile is also important. There's a lot going on in the LinkedIn. So you might need to have a LinkedIn account created with your right skills. But the thing is, it's not the same as your resume. So one of the mistake I used to do is I copy the things from resume and create a LinkedIn profile. So the challenge I face there is when I want to apply for a different kind of job, even though I have the skills, if I have the LinkedIn profile put on the resume, they first go and check that. So I may not be able to target for that job because it's just cut and copy of my original resume. So yeah, so that's also one of the things you might want to consider.
Cool.
I think everyone is awake, I guess. Is everyone awake?
Vishnu is there, definitely. And I think.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So see, you know that like we do not, at least in India, pretty much we do not have the concept of cover letter, right? So we go with our resumes, but here it is quite different. I can ask a question to this group, like how many of you have written or liked the cover letter?
I had done.
Yeah, I have done.
Okay, so you guys like
done.
it? Like to write?
To be frank, no.
It's like no option for you, isn't it? Otherwise, you just guys would prefer to just use the resume. Hey, look at my resume, and then hire me, right? That's what we are used to. There is nothing to blame anyone of us in this group, including me. Like I don't like to write the cover letter until I came here and really understood the reason behind writing it. If you look at your resume, it's almost a fixed format and fixed your experience, your skill sets. It's static, right? And you know that also in resume, we can't write 6 pages like how Prashant said. If you write a 6-page resume, no one is going to read it, right? So your resume needs to be concise, and then it has to be just not more than a 2-page. And some of them really prefer a 1-page resume. So meaning that you can't put all the information what you wanted to put in the resume. And that's where this cover letter also helps, right? When you're looking for a job, as I said, the who part, every organization or every role that demanded by the organization is different. So you need to narrow down your cover letter to that organization, right? So your skill set will support skill sets, and your experience will be supported by your resume, whereas your experience in terms of what actually you have done in that particular area which the company is looking for will be covered pretty much by the cover letter. So some of the question I think Vishnu asked, I'm not sure who exactly it is, what sort of technology or the tools I should know. So one of the answers is having a generic tool. But sometimes, let's say if you are an integration engineer and you worked on a particular tool and the demand is for a different tool, but you could also use this tool as and you have worked on a particular integration tool, and you can say that, hey, I have worked on this integration tool, and I know the concepts that all the integration tool works in a similar fashion, and I do have a knowledge on the new tool which you are expecting. And those information can go into your cover letter. And when the manager or whoever is hiring reads that, he gets a confidence, yeah. And those things you can't put it in the resume. So that's where your cover letter really helps you to take to the next level. Make sense?
Yes.
Good point, Sharma.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add one point. Like, I think one of the reasons no one likes to write a cover letter is it takes too much time. Like, for one job, for me, at least 2 to 3 hours to make a good cover letter. So I probably just get to apply one job per day. That's all you can do. That's why, because that's a long process if you do it in the right way. Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
It's boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's boring.
It's so boring. Oh my goodness. I hate doing it, but hey, what's more important, your boredom or to get a job? I think it's a very easy decision.
And no one asked a question about reference in the CV. So So I'm requesting Prashant to explain.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, after the acing of the interview. Yeah, so we'll talk about interviews a little bit. Okay, everybody. I'm assuming everybody has gone for an interview in New Zealand. I mean, most of us, maybe Aarti not. Yeah. Okay, so few of the observations that we've had. Sorry, was it Vishnu? Sorry.
No.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. So, hey, Sujit, welcome.
Hi. Hi,
Good evening. All good. Okay, so few of the observations that we have seen, and some of them might be a little rude, if I may say so. Okay, but this is an observation which I've made, and my experience, in the past 4-5 years of interviewing candidates, especially people from the Indian diaspora. Okay, so very basic. Arrive on time, not too early, not too late. So be on time, maybe a 5-7 minutes before the scheduled time, sign in and stuff, and always dress properly. Okay, so I recollect, and so I'll give an example about a man and a woman as an example. Okay, so a man came and he actually was wearing a shirt and a t-shirt which was exposing around his neck area. Okay, and he actually wore a casual pant. The shoe, however, was a borderline sneaker, and he was coming for a decent. So the moment you see a candidate like that, personally, I find it very disengaging. The reason is because the role demanded him to be meeting business stakeholders, and the business stakeholders, which is clearly articulated in the job description as well, that you will be meeting senior stakeholders, blah blah blah. You can't go with that kind of a dressing, especially when you come for an interview. So please go to very basic stuff. Wear proper formal clothes. Semi-formal is okay. Ties are no longer trendy, so don't wear ties at all, is my suggestion. And the third one is a little bit of a, as I said, a little too blunt. Take a shower. I meant to write groom your beard, but it seems it's a mistake. It says groom your bear. If you have a bear, do groom the bear as well. Okay, and hair should be, and then smell nice. Hey, use deos, and and take a shower. If it's too cold, at least take a wear a nice dose of deos and whatnot. Right? You should smell nice. Don't smoke and go inside. It stinks. Smoking is your personal choice, but when you get into the interview room, if you reek of smoke, I had a lady who came in, and she actually had smoked and just came because she was nervous. She said, "Hey, I'm nervous." I said, "Okay, understood, but not acceptable, because you would do the same thing when it comes to a meeting with a business stakeholder." And I work in health, so we're a little bit no. We don't smoke. We don't do so and so forth. The last one is a little, probably a little surprising. Read the news. Many times during the interview, we do a little bit of chit chat. Hey, what's happened? What do you think about the last rugby match? And the cricket. If you're Indian, they say, oh, cricket. It's all about cricket for you, isn't it? So don't feel offended, but just read about it, and have some knowledge about what's happening in the world. Okay, it's kind of helps, because that helps you, get a good thing going with the interviewing the panel, right? And know your resume, and that's when we say write it up and make sure that you actually know what you have put in the resume. Remember, just revise. Maybe it's a 5-year-old project. Think about, hey, what did I do? Because we will ask you questions. I was having an interview with a person yesterday on Thursday. The person was a really smart person, and he said, I've worked as a lead in Malaysia. So great. The only question I asked was, what's leadership to you? And the person said, oh, I'll tell the team to do this. But that's not what leadership is all about. Okay. So be very conscious about what you're saying. Do not blabber. Blabbering is the biggest mistake that people from my Indian diaspora do. When I say blabber, what I mean is, so my generation, which is the 70s generation, okay, the 40s, who are 40 and above, we learned English in a certain way. But the younger generation, which is probably the 20s and the the 30 generation, most of us were learning English. But the problem was we actually forgot the basic structure of the language. And this is an English-speaking nation, right? So we ended up mixing words here and there. Okay, an example is somebody mentioned, oh, the job was made redundant. Well, the right usage is the role or the position was disestablished and the person was made redundant, or the employee was made redundant. So that's an example. There's a difference, right? So think about it, reflect about how you use those words. If you do that, an English-speaking country will start judging you, because that's essential in terms of communication. Practice. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, definitely.
You have to work hard. It's not easy because it's such a difficult thing to to practice and learn, because you're not used to it. You're talking about 10 years of habits. Bad habits die hard. So you have to work on it. If you don't work on it, then you'll not have a chance to get into bigger and greater organizations, because they expect a certain level of professionalism, which includes good communication skills. And communication is very key. You have to be able to communicate what's in your head, what's in your thinking, what's your action, which means English speaking, English writing, and English presentation. So you basically have all those capabilities there. That brings me to the next point, which is there's a STAR technique that we use: situation, task, action, and results. So when you are going for an interview, usually people like me or hiring managers like me, they'll always ask you, hey, tell us a scenario when you use this particular tool to present, something. So basically we're giving you a scenario, business scenario. So think about those, especially think about examples from your resume, which you have written. Okay, so be prepared is what we're saying. Again, do not bullshit. If you bullshit, then make sure that you do it so well that you don't get caught. Making sense? Because I mean, some people do really well, and again, this is something which I want to be very clear here. The people who are from a comparable market, they have a habit which is quite good and beneficial for them, is they actually can use words, buzzwords. They talk about crypto, they talk about cyber, they talk about risk management, blah blah blah. They can mix it around and then say, you know what, they'll impress you, right? We sometimes don't do it very well because we struggle. And remember the point I made, we blabber quite a bit in terms of using words interchangeably, and words have to be used in context of the situation, the scenario. You have to use together, then they make sense. Okay. So if you don't do that, yes, thank you for agreeing. If you don't do that, I'm sure each one of you is probably thinking, saying, it kind of makes sense, probably done that. And think about it. And happy to, work with you individually as well to say, hey, you know what, I don't think so, but can you explain more? Fine, no problem. You can. That's why we're here. Next point, price point, what I mean by the price point is know what you expect in return of your services, your salary expectation. The number of times people from the Indian diaspora who are newer to the country say, hey, it's okay, whatever your band is. Dude, you're selling a skill. I will say, okay, I'll give you 50,000, and I'll tell you an example. So this is something which I'm going on record and telling. In a business analyst job, it's an 85K start. Okay, per annum, obviously. Now we've had people come and say, oh, I just want 68,000. I'm like, good for me from a business perspective, because I'll buy you for 68 and I'll sell you for 150, because we sell your skills. So obviously, but we have grids and bands, and we have to give you a minimum. But the problem is you're actually underselling yourself. It's a waste of time. Because we say, this person doesn't know what he's talking about. It's very simple. Go and find out your role. Go on Seek. You'll get your range already. It's easy to gauge. So I don't know why people do that.
Yeah.
Make sense? The last,
Yes.
last but not the least, the usual stuff. They'll ask you about weaknesses. They'll ask you about when did you fail last time? Tell us what you learned from it. Plans for next few years. I usually say, I don't know what's going to happen. It's COVID. I don't know what's going to happen. I might be, redundant in the next 3 months. But you still have to assume that things are going to be fine. You talk about plans. It has to be logical, making sense. So think about it. And then you'll have the odd question that they will be asked, which you have no clue about. So when you ask that question, when you don't have no clue about in terms of preparation, you stop, think. And when you ask a question, let the person finish the question. Don't just jump. I was interviewing person from was an AMU graduate senior guy. Here my second in command is asking, tell us about integration in the context of the moment he was about to complete the sentence. The candidate was saying, yeah, I did the integration this way, blah, 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 blah. And then the pace of the conversation, Indians speak very fast English. I can't follow it here. Why are you in a hurry? Slow down. Think about your answer and then present. Take it. Nobody's going to shoot you if you take 5 seconds extra. It means you're thinking. It's a positive thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take a pause here. I know it's 3:12. I think we're a little behind schedule, but any questions here?
Prashant?
Oh,
Sorry,
Go. Good to know.
Prashant, can you advise me for a group interview?
Sorry, who's that? Who's asking the question here?
Pratibha?
Group interviews. Interesting. You've done your MBA, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember the stage when you used to have GD?
Mm-hmm.
How different is it? Is the question. You're trying to get selected, right?
Yes.
You're basically trying to, I'm not saying beat, you basically trying to prove to the panel that you're the best candidate.
Yeah.
One of the good techniques which I have learned, when we did our masters was don't go first. Okay, listen. Because then you get a lot, sometimes you get good ideas. Sometimes you know where the weaknesses are. So listening is a very important skill. And then you can develop your entire, response to a question or a scenario based on how you assess your environment, your competition. How about this, Pratibha? If there's a specific scenario you want to talk about, let's take it offline. I'm more than happy to work with you on that because there might be some nuances which I'm missing. I'm just giving you a very basic general guideline.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, contact me. You have my number. So let's talk about it. Get flash out and we can nail it. No, not a big deal. It's very easy. It's not a very difficult.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Any questions on the interview process? I will talk about references.
Yeah, but I just want to add something. Just bear with me if you guys know about that. Regarding this situation, task, action, result thing, I think I used to search behavioral interview questions in internet. You will get a lot of questions if you connect that with your position, like which mine was a test engineer. So behavioral interview questions for test engineer, you will get a lot of sample questions which I got the same question, or which helped me a lot in my interviews. Hopefully if anyone can.
So behavioral is a very important aspect. So as I said, I think I alluded to that a little bit when we talked about how does a person gel in. I think somebody mentioned about the hobbies thing, right? So one of the things which we observed during the interview process is, hey, how is this person, going to respond in some situations, right? So we give a scenario in terms of how do you deal with pressure, how do you deal with this and that. And when we give us a basic business scenario, right? Let's say we will give you in terms of, as a BA, I can explain that a little bit better. BAs do workshops with 5 stakeholders, right? So the goal is to make everybody come to a common agreement as a BA, right? And that's part of your job. So if we say, hey, by the way, if 2 of the stakeholders are not agreeing with you, what will you do? And you know what we do? We actually will build on that response. And many a times what I've done in the past is actually do a good cop, bad cop combination, wherein my second in command becomes the good cop and I become the bad cop in terms of asking questions which are very difficult. So a person can prepare only to a certain extent, and then we break the person in terms of maybe giving away what he or she is weak. So we assess that, and sometimes we also ask the person to come into our and into our unit and meet the team. Okay, so there are many ways of assessing that particular person's personality traits. It's we have a standard, but some people are really smart, really smart. So STAR is basically I can show you probably I can send the scenario which we use. I'll give you the wireframe of it, because we basically explain a business problem and then say, hey, you know what, come and present it back to us. That's where we say situation, the business problem, what is the expected outcome, and then what are the specific actions that you will do, and then explain to us what is it that you will achieve out of that entire set of it. So that's when we give a fresh scenario. But then there are examples when we say, hey, tell us about your past. That's when we again apply the STAR technique. Does that make sense? Or
Yep.
okay. Well, hey, anybody else wants to add to this?
Hi, Uncle. I just also had a question about interviews.
Yeah.
So in interviews and stuff, if you ask like a really general, open-ended question, like, tell me about yourself, for example, is there a way you would recommend us like structure our answer around that, or what things the interviewer might be looking for?
So, okay. So so what I do usually is I'll say, tell who is Aarti in 60 seconds. Okay. So we don't want to know about your family more than how much you love your appa or how much you love your dog. We just want to know about you as a person, more aligned towards the employment type that you have. So my name is Prashant. I'm 40 years old. I've got a family. I love badminton. I love this one. I'm passionate about this. Boom. Keep it simple, because the more you talk, the more opportunities people get to ask questions about tricky ones. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Then try to do it in 60 seconds is my suggestion. If you follow a certain script, then it seems fake. So that's why I would recommend to you, Aarti, and this is something which I have talked about in the latest slides as well. Try to go to Toastmasters, because they will actually train you very well there in terms of how you speak about certain kinds of certain kinds of needs. Okay, but I can actually sit down with you, Aarti, and we can actually see if it sounds okay from an employer perspective, because we ask this question every day. Yeah. Makes sense. So again, as I said, if you're too regimented, it's like the copy paste thing which we do about cover letters. If you're doing the same thing again, everybody say, oh, this person is saying I'm hardworking, I'm this and that. There's nothing which is going to tell me that you're special. Give it your own fling. You be an artist, telling about yourself. Say, hey, it's me, what do I love about this? And then I enjoy this. I'm thinking about in the next 2 years I'll do this, and so just give that blurb which is unique and original to your style. don't do a copy paste. Is my suggestion. But at the same time, don't give too much details. Nobody does. No, you don't want to. It's boring sometimes. Okay, let's move on. Conscious of time. Any other questions on this?
Can I ask a quick question to regarding what Aarti said? Would the introduction to yourself be different from an elevator pitch, or is that more personal?
Oh, elevator pitch is different.
Okay.
Introduction to self is about you.
Okay.
An elevator pitch is something you is very targeted at getting that next appointment with the person you want to talk to. Does everybody know what the elevator pitch is? Yes, no?
No.
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 We'll talk about it now, okay? So this is networking. So one of the things which we Praveen did very vividly talk about is using LinkedIn, okay? So essentially, LinkedIn is like the Facebook of professionals, right? Am I right in saying that, or you?
Yeah, it's right.
Okay. But see, the thing is, so the number of likes you get on Facebook is based upon whatever you want the world to believe, right? Right. You might be 5 feet 1 inches, but you might, the way you put your selfie. I don't know how to do selfies, but you might seem like a 6 feet 10 inches person, right? Or maybe you look fair like me, by the way. So I'm just saying. So what you want to represent, show to the world for your professional thing, you need to put on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah.
Very important. The content is important. If you do a copy paste, Sujit, you will land in trouble because people will get disengaged with if you are not telling the truth. Now, when I say use your knowledge to network, you will have, for example, I've got access to maybe 500 groups, which is I'm interested in SAP, I'm interested in project management, I'm interested in business analysis, and so on and so forth. So the thing is, that's because I'm trying to get knowledge out of it. But then we need to decide which is the direction of travel for you. Yeah. Which means, for example, in your case, Sujit, you're looking at, let's say, you getting into the next stage of, AP, or AR for that matter, right? So essentially, when we discussed, we said, hey, let's go into using the RPA or intelligent automation to use your domain expertise and the tool. So what I would say is go onto LinkedIn, search for those groups which are onto intelligent automation, and then interact with people. Because on LinkedIn groups, when you post something, when you ask those or you comment on something, people start knowing, hey, this person knows what he's talking about. That's like the Facebook of professionals, right? So you say, or then you become popular, and then the Instagram, you have followers and whatever. I'm not into a lot of social media, but I'm just telling you this is probably the way to go. Okay, but you got to make sense to people. If you do a copy paste from someplace and just dump it, then people say you're fake because they're also having access to internet and Google, right? So they all say, hey, you know what? This is all copy paste. Plagiarism doesn't get you anywhere. Quickly, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Auckland is like Rome, is what we say. Which means you have to network the way Auckland networks. Okay. You have to get out of a comfort zone. We are all in a comfort zone. For example, how many of us on a weekend meet non-Mallu people?
I do.
Yeah, good.
I
Excellent.
do.
Excellent. Good. So when you meet, are you meeting on for professional needs, or you meeting for when you go to a pub, or what's the purpose of it? So I'm talking purely from a professional perspective, because there are a lot of meet.
Sorry.
Go for it.
You want me to talk?
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I mean, when I visit, like, I mostly visit like North Indians, like maybe Punjabis, or they might be from Maharashtra. So both like casual and professional. So somehow I just want to make a lead that will help me, getting a job or preparation of CV.
Yep.
Yeah, it It will be
So that,
mostly professional, targeting professional.
yeah, excellent.
I have done like you know the meetups. There is an app called Meetups. So I chose Meetups for meeting people who is working in the same profession like software test engineers.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll have meetups in weekends for that.
Yep, excellent. That's very good. But one of the things which we're talking about is that speak the language the way it is spoken here, right? Right. So I'm not saying you start having a Kiwi accent from day one. It'll seem very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some certain styles in which we communicate. The way we, say hi's and by's and discuss subject matters and so on and so forth. We got to be very culturally sensitive. They are not Indians. So my question was, when you're saying getting out of comfort zone, speaking the language the way it's spoken here, I'm talking about English and being culturally sensitive. We talked about acclimatization, right? So when we are in our Indian group, we usually would not know how the wider work environment works, right? So I'm talking
Yes.
about professionals. So we kind of get constrained, and usually, as Indians would do, we have crab mentality. You know what is crab mentality, right? We try to pull down the crab which is going up with our claws. So basically, if somebody is doing great, pull him down. You have to go out. That's where you get out of comfort zone. Speak the language in a certain way, which is spoken here, which will be useful professionally. That's why you say be part of professional groups. Somebody mentioned they are, which is good, attending meetups. Very important part, and this is something which I recently experienced. Somebody asked me to present in front of IIBA New Zealand, and I asked the question, can you guarantee that I'll not be asked to give people jobs after the meetup? Yeah, the answer was no. And the answer was, most of the people who attend are Indians and they're always looking for a job, and they say, hey, get me a job. So there's a way of doing it, right? There's the nuances of networking have to be understood the way it's done here. So when you catch up for a beer, you talk about stuff, and then slowly, then the person starts liking, and that's networking in this truest sense. So when we network after work, we go get a beer, go for a barbecue, or whatever. Go. If you're younger, you probably go to the desk. Get the tune of how it's done here, not how it was done in India, and don't be so direct that okay, get me a job. Nobody has the time to teach you. Nobody will, because they're a competition. You're a competition.
True.
Learn on your own. And most importantly, keep learning until you kick the bucket, which means basically until you die. If you don't, you will get outdated. This is a Chinese, Mandarin word, which talks about networking. So that's what we tried to say. Any questions here?
And we just want to add a couple of points here. So Prashant talked about the elevator pitch, right? So that's pretty much is what we use when we do the networking. So I'm just trying to link these two different things. So we talked about elevator pitch and what is the importance about it. It's basically why do you even need to talk about yourself and what value you can bring in and so on, right? So that gives, there's an objective to it, right? So probably I can ask this group, some of you said you go to use Meetup and then go and meet people and so on. What is the objective of it? Because it's not a job interview forum, for sure.
No, it's meeting people and getting new trends, learning basically, sharing the ideas, getting the ideas, meet good people who is working with the same profession. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So one is, if I want to classify that, one, you want to learn about things like what's happening in the market, what are the new trends coming in. Fair enough. But also there is a second piece, which is you are interested to land in something, right? If you know that there are opportunities, if probably, for that meeting or the group, there might be a lot of people coming up from different industry. Someone could be a business owner, someone could be into probably an industry where they can offer you a job and so on. So you interact with them, correct? and then try to probably even find if someone can have a job opportunities as well, correct?
Yes and no, because
Mhm.
like these meetups are like a chosen ones who is really interested in testing kind of thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, yes, because they can sometimes refer to get a
Yeah,
job. So yeah.
yeah. So if they have to refer you, they should know you, isn't it? What you can
Yeah.
offer them, what is your value and so on, whether
Hmm.
that can be leveraged and so on, because
What's in
they're
it
not
for
going
them?
to, yeah, what's
What's in
it
it for
in
them?
for them?
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
Correct. So they need to know you. So that's when we use the elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
There are two things. One is that before elevator pitch is it's slightly a very dynamic content that you deliver or that you speak when you're talking to a person, because you can't just go and, let's say in such meetup groups or any, different people will be coming, different type of people will be coming in. It's not the same like hiring managers or the guys from technical background and so. So there'll be a lot of people coming into the group. So when you're talking to them, you need to fine tune your communication and what you want to deliver according to who they are and what you want to tell them, right? So you need to understand what you actually want from them by telling yourself, right? So you need to understand, okay, hey, I want to talk to you about this, because they can understand what you're talking, so that you can, it makes sense, the communication should make sense, because if their expectations are something else and you're talking about something else, doesn't match. So you need to understand who they are and what they want, and then fine tune your communication to that, and what problem probably you want to even solve for them, right? And
totally,
understand what
totally.
what they want and what you want to solve for them, and what you have. Explain what do you do today, and then what value probably can bring them to solve their problem, right? And that's when people remember you. Oh, I met this guy and he knows this, and he can probably help you with. Probably it could be his other friend who is in demand, and he can refer you if he can remember who you are and what you value you can bring in. And that's where this elevator pitch really helps you. So it's a short thing. You have to prepare yourself, and it has to be dynamic. It is not a static content. Remember that, because it varies from situation to situation whom you are talking with. You might be talking to a test engineer or test manager. You might be talking to a business analyst. So what you are and what you can offer from each of those scenarios, because in India, you might have worked on multiple areas, right? And if you're scaling up yourself to a particular path, let's say a business analyst, then your communication should be on that tone and on that line. You got it?
Totally.
Yeah. So elevator pitch is very, very important. Prashant will be covering in the next couple of slides some of the websites and URL which are free content, right? He's going to cover that. And I strongly suggest use those learning platform and explore what is elevator pitch and how to write about it, because we probably will not have much time to explain you everything here, but use that to your advantage. It is free. You don't need to pay anything, right? Most of them are free. Go search for an elevator pitch and then start preparing yourself, including resume writing and everything. Like, we can help you out. We're not saying no to it, but again, I'm saying, like, what is the importance of a cover letter more in detail, you can learn in those experts who are from New Zealand or who are from the world market, right? Yeah.
Because see, it's your charm which works. Every person has to have a charm, a USP, unique selling point.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go for, I've always asked this question to people. Hey, if I were to tell you everything to say and do, then I will get the job, right? So the thing is, you have to work hard. That whole shift in thinking is very crucial. And it's very difficult. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, guys. But so when we talk about this, so stories which these guys, Sharma and Sobet and everybody will tell you, you will understand how they have struggled, and you will be able to identify with all of these stories. So this is something which we can talk about. As I said, LinkedIn Learning is free. Some people will say not really, but the answer is yes. If you have an Auckland Library card, it is free. and it's got one of the best contents which I've seen till date in terms of business analysis, project management, Excel training, AP training, any domain. It's got one of the best. The other one which I really want to talk about is Toastmasters. Many of us do not have the best of the suitable communication skills in terms of being able to talk and being able to present and able to write as well. So Toastmasters, it probably cost you about $30 a month. You probably have across New Zealand. It's a worldwide organization. And the good news about Toastmasters is that you are forced to do things in a way that you commit to a weekly session. And the good news is that you have people like grammarians who basically check your grammar in terms of what you've written. They tell you about how you presented in terms of time, in terms of the construct of your presentation, and so on and so forth. And you get to meet people from different domains. Again, a networking opportunity. Right. So have any one of you gone there?
Yes, I started it.
Excellent. I mean, it'll transform you if you go to the right place. It's really, really useful. I went there about 4 years ago, when 3.5 years ago, when I started my master's, and I was blown out. I'm like, my goodness, what was I missing? I've got senior program managers, Kiwis, who still go to Toastmasters because just say, hey, I learn something every day. Why can't we? We need to. That's a need for us. We have to. The moment you get comms or communications up a level, see the difference in the way you get responses to your resumes. Don't be shy. I almost border on saying be shameless. Nobody knows stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have also signed up in Toastmasters. My flatmate said that he's a Kiwi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been ranting about it. I mean, I've been talking about Toastmasters for at least 8 years to people. I had my team in Fonterra. They used to go. They're like, makes a huge difference. It gives you confidence. Because the moment you communicate that making sense and you get a response from your listeners that, hey, you know what? Ooh, this isn't making sense. Obviously, Toastmasters will teach you how to research a topic, how to speak about it. So knowledge obviously goes hand in hand. Yeah. And that's where all these learning sites, there are much many more that you can list out. I mean, there are a lot many, we really didn't cover a lot of them, but we said, hey, let's talk about some. Yeah. Right. Important points. Okay. So this is not a list that we created. World Economic Forum, one of the good, credible, institutions worldwide. They're telling us, something here. So listen carefully, guys. Okay. And this is something which they're predicting in terms of 2025 top 10 skills. We're talking about analytical thinking, so on and so forth. Top to bottom. But I'm sure you're more interested in the job landscape. Yeah. So let's talk about the decreasing job demand. Okay, and I'll give you example as to why we're saying this. Data entry clerks, administrative and executive secretaries, accounting, bookkeeping, payrolls, accountants and auditors, business service administration managers, client information, customer services workers, general operations manager, mechanics and machinery repairers, material recording and stock keeping clerks. This is going to be a diminishing job title. The function itself is going to die, and the example that I want to give you is just one. Okay. Everybody heard about intelligent automation, talk about robotics, talk about things like process automation.
Yes.
So there are many tools like Blue Prism and UiPath and blah, blah, blah. If you go to Gartner, which is one of the leading consulting organizations, which talks about the future in terms of technology and so on and so forth, you'll find that they talk about Blue Prism. So recently, what I did for my organization is we set up a platform for Blue Prism. Okay, what does it do? Simple. It's an AI ML based platform. What it does is it will replace human activity. And the example that we picked was to automate eligibility. Eligibility was in terms of somebody requesting for something, in terms of getting an approval for some cash. All we did was we pushed in the system, and we got some criterias, and the bot will automatically approve it, which will affect books, it will affect purchasing, it will affect payments, and so on and so forth. AP is a similar area. AP is accounts payable, accounts receivables, and so on and so forth. So these areas are definitely going to be lesser and less in demand, wherein this becomes the growth in demand, right? Data analysis, AI and machine learning, as I said, big data, digital marketing, because marketing is encourages sales, right? Process automation, which is what I talked about, huge demand. So people who have got domain expertise, Chad, and people who think about this very seriously. If you are going into a profession, starting off something here, if you are into an aged profession, talk about the transformation. Think about the transformation. Otherwise, you will get into a small unit, but then small unit will stop using it, and then you again go back to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
true.
It's reality.
Yeah.
Because the example which I took is so important, because the spend from a business perspective, we were spending $260,000 on 3 employees. The bot costs about $26,000 to maintain year on year. The development was about 100,000, right? So 160,000 we spent, which is going to give us service for the next X number of years with some modifications. We saved 100 already in the first year. We retained probably one person. We give him 70,000, 80,000 maybe. So on an average, if you look at the ROI on the investment, it's about $150,000. Why would we keep humans to do it? It's a reality. So think about it. Okay. There is more, which is what Praveen will talk about. That's where probably the meaty part is in terms of tools and technologies and so on. Okay. Any questions on this, or we'll just move on to the next one? Move on?
Yeah, more please.
So this is again, we'll hopefully I can send this thing. So this is the whole domains about analysis, what the various categorizations and so on, and technology domains and all. Very useful. We can talk about it more. I would want to skip this to the next one so that Praveen gives a lot of information here. I'll keep quiet now. Okay.
Thanks, Prashant. So hello everyone. So I did a small research and my small effort to consolidate the recent IT technologies that are in huge demand. So I have got 2 slides. So due to the skills shortage, every organization have multiple openings in these areas. You have a high possibility of getting job if you are focusing on to get trained in these new areas where the IT future is going to be. Okay, let's start with the cloud computing. In simple term, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, server, storage, network, database, application services, etc., over the internet. The recent trend is more and more companies are migrating to cloud from on-premise or run as hybrid cloud. The companies are started to adopt cloud because you typically pay only for cloud services that you use, no or less capital expenditure, then easy to scale when your business grow. Yeah, popular cloud providers are Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and there are more like IBM, Red Hat, Oracle, and yeah, they all are providing.
Tencent as well. Yeah. Everybody is standing up their cloud computing services.
Yes.
Everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. So to get jobs, the mantra is get certified. You can have one or more cloud certification. it can increase the chances of getting jobs. So we already know that in IT field, certification has a value, especially in New Zealand. It is really hard for an Indian immigrant to get a reference, personal reference, but you have a badge of certifications, then they're gonna trust you. At least they trust the vendor. So that's like a vendor is certified this person, so that this person is claiming to know that he knows some certain skills, and that's a proof that he has got the certification on it. So it's always help you. Try to crack more than one. Yeah. Then some of the roles that you can commonly find on the job portals related to cloud are cloud operations engineer, DevOps, and cloud solution architect. These are the commonly seen one, but there are jobs which is overlapping with the developments and things like that. So these are just the common one which you can find it on any of the job portals. And the
Well,
skills, yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So the skills you need to know, like one or two cloud providers knowledge, AWS or GCP or Azure, they are popular at the moment. And we also heard that Azure is planning to open a data center in New Zealand. So it's having Azure will give you more chance of jobs, because one of the challenge companies face to move to cloud is because they don't want to put their data on a different country. So if anybody is trying to open their data center in New Zealand, then most of the companies, even the government firms, can move their data onto cloud. Yeah, so AWS, Azure, GCP all has a lot of chances of getting jobs if you have the certifications and knowledge. And you should know the concept of infrastructure as code. And you for that, you might need to learn the automation tools like Terraform, Ansible, Chef. And the skills what I have mentioned here, it's not the complete one. Companies may select one or two, or they may use one. And you can clearly go through the job portal and start reading the requirements of one or two jobs, and you can easily figure it out which is the popular one. So you know which one to target first. So always make job portal as your friend, like a Facebook. Just log into job portal and see who is posting what. That'll give you a clear idea about what to learn, what tools to pick up. So yeah, one of the thing I did my initial career is to read the job descriptions and find out the gap, what I know and what companies are looking for, and try to learn those skills. So that's one of the things the new people who are in the industry can try doing that. Yeah. Then other than automation, yeah, Git, Jenkins, all this knowledge is also required, because you might be deploying the infrastructure services through an automation script. So they all keep it as a development code in this case. And we are monitoring tools like 102, Prometheus, Grafana, cloud native solutions like CloudWatch, AWS CloudWatch, etc. So try to learn the popular ones. So if you just do a Google search and see that popular tools, you get to know okay, this is what is popular. So put effort to learn that. And other skills you might require is a serverless and container services, which is gaining more popularity, because and the microservices and all that. So one of the trend is to moving away from monolithic applications to microservices. So these are the key things you might need to learn. Basics of storage, networking, security, all still matters. So you should know this basics. And backup and recovery concepts and tools, certifications, communication is also very important in this role. So that's about cloud computing. Again, this is just my research based on the jobs and requirements and my experience. So it will not be complete. Use this as a reference and you can start learning from there. If you don't have any questions, then I can move on to the next session.
I do have one.
Yeah.
Properly, എനിക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റിലാണ്.
ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ചെയ്തിരുന്ന ടൂൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്ത C++ ലാംഗ്വേജിലാണ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്.
ഓക്കെ.
ബട്ട് ഇവിടെ വന്നു കഴിയുമ്പോൾ കൂടുതൽ .NET അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡിഫറെന്റ് ടെക്നോളജീസ് ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പൊ ഇപ്പോ പുതിയത് ലേൺ ചെയ്ത് ഒന്നുകൂടെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യണമെന്നൊരിക്കും ഒരു പുതിയൊരു ബിഗിനർ ലെവലിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് സൈഡിൽ നിന്ന് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രിഫറൻസ് വന്നപ്പോ ഡെവോപ്സോ ക്ലൗഡ് കമ്പ്യൂട്ടിംഗ് ആണ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പോ അതിനിപ്പോ ഞാൻ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോ ഒരു ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രിഫറൻസ് ഹയർ ചെയ്യുമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോ കൂടുതൽ ചാൻസസ് ഏതാന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഇപ്പൊ ക്ലൗഡ് കമ്പ്യൂട്ടിംഗ് ആവോ?
So you are a developer, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So cloud computing is a infrastructure service provided to run your applications you develop.
Yes.
Okay. So since you are a developer, you don't have to worry about whether they run it on cloud or they run it on a virtual machines or Docker. So yes, you need to know the concept to develop based on that, but it doesn't matter what languages you use here.
Okay.
And also, don't just say you are a Java programmer. Those days are gone. Just see it as a tool. The more tool you know, you can do the work better. So that's where the industry is going to. We had already discussed, like, you need to have the breadth, not the depth. I mean, yes, you need to have the depth as well. That's later in your career. Maybe after a few years of experience, you specialize on one thing. But mostly nowadays, people are looking for multiple skills. Be ready to learn. If you don't know something else, it's okay. You know programming, you are from the computer background, you can pick it up the other programming languages. That's how that's where things are moving.
It's a very good point. I think we missed one point to talk about. There's a world. When my parents were growing, they were it was a dawn of specialization as a concept, right? Which means that ആദ്യം ആൾക്കാർ ജനറലിസ്റ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു. നമുക്ക് കുറച്ചൊക്കെ കാര്യങ്ങളായി അപ്പൊ സൂപ്പർവൈസറും അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയാണ് ജനറൽ പരിപാടി ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതായത് സ്പെഷ്യലിസ്റ്റ് ആയി. So my dad was an engineer, he's a helicopter engineer, so he became a specialist there. Now what's happened is people like us, we've got an engineering background plus an MBA plus we're doing analysis plus we can do intelligent automation. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് ഈ എല്ലാം കോമ്പണൻസ് സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ് ചെയ്തു. Hence we are in demand. And we actually can command a good price point. And then this does not matter because we have so much of specialization. So you can go there. But if you want to get an entry level, then you can pick up one and be good at that. But then if you double it to 2 skills areas, then you actually have a better chance to nail it. Because ഇവിടുത്തെ as a general rule, ഇവിടെ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് കുറച്ച് കുറവാണ് പഠിപ്പും വിദ്യാഭ്യാസമൊക്കെ. In this meeting room, most of us are postgraduates, right? Most of us. MBA, MTech, MCA, something or the other, right? We have learned something. Yeah. So similarly, a business domain and a technical tool, that combination is really, really potent. And that's what will help you succeed. Vishu, it's a good, Subish, you asked the question, right? Give us a call. Let's have a talk. I think we haven't 100% answered your question, but we've given you some indication. But we need to
Yes.
suss it out a little bit more.
Yes,
It's a good question. It's a very good question you asked. And I think
Good question, Shabish. Yeah.
Very good question. Okay.
Yep.
Subish, maybe just to add probably only one point of what Praveen has said, right? So you can understand. So you come from a background of C++ and so on, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and then the market is not scaled up to C++. It's more on C# and other technologies, correct? Yeah, you're absolutely right. So you'll have the challenges, but New Zealand market works slightly in a different way, in the sense like here, if you can do a certification on a particular technology, that can help you to scale up yourself to that particular job, right? Because I come from almost like, I'll talk about myself in a few minutes, but 17 plus years of experience in the IT industry. But still, to get into a job, I need to do a certification on the management side to showcase that, I'm qualified for that role. So this is expected in all. Even a barista guy who is doing a coffee thing needs to be certified. Otherwise, you're not qualified to do the job. So having done a lot of work on the C++ and other technologies, switching over to a different technology is not a complex thing, because you write the same if statement over there and as well as here. The only thing difference is like how you debug the stuff and then come to the solution and so on, and then the platform ID and stuff like that. But the logic is same. As long as you have the core capability of writing a logical thing, you are fit to do any development activities, right? But people don't look at it in that angle. So you have to scale up and then show, hey, you know what? I'm a certified guy. I've done my personal project and I'm ready to take up any challenges that you throw on me. That's the attitude you need to show.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, at the moment, I different languages പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. Python നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, .NET നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. But certification ഞാൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല.
Just do it, because see, it's not like Indian every Tom, Dick and Harry, sorry, no offense to anybody, is certified. But here certification does have a value.
Okay.
Does have a value. Okay. So let's talk about it. It's a good.
I'll give you a code.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Okay. We'll give you more guidance there. Right.
Okay.
Did I? Sorry.
Oh,
did I make a mistake? Oh, sorry.
So can I ask one question?
Yep, sure.
See, when coming to this DevOps, who is getting the more payment, either the programmer or this DevOps engineer? So which one is more industry based? No, I'm just generally asking.
It's a good question.
Yeah, good point. So the thing is, we don't really know unless you apply for the job and talk to the HR, because every company has a different way of payroll structure. So it's really hard. But the thing is, the latest DevOps is kind of a culture. So you are not just a developer or a programmer.
It is just what I learned is it is like hosting these kind of, if you are a programmer and you are implementing and finally you will be putting in the server and all these things are like doing this one.
So I'll give you a simple scenario. In traditionally, programmers write programs and hand over to the testers, and they test it, and the system engineers will install it and run that program. That's how we used to do. So what happens is, programmers with the less experience, they write some code, and it's always problem at the support team who is running this program.
Yeah.
So there is a big gap between the programmers and the actual engineers who is running it. So what companies is trying to solve is, they develop a culture where whoever writes a program is also responsible for running the applications. And if there is an issue, the fix is a collective effort. Okay, so you need to know a bit of system side as well. Some of the tools which we use, monitoring tools especially, because you are the one going to implement monitoring within your application when you write the code, and you are also responsible for security. So you have to implement SSL and all the stuffs in your application. So this kind of culture solve most of the problems of throwing the things each other, responsibilities each other, and getting rid of
Blaming
taking
others.
hands off and blaming things. So this is as culture most companies are adopting to. So when you say DevOps, yes, it's not clear until you read the job description. What are you going to do at that company as a DevOps engineer? You could be developing, or it could be on the other side, you could be an engineer. Yeah, there is another one is called site reliability engineer, which is getting popular. It's coming from, I think, Google. So this is kind of an engineering job, which is again, DevOps say, okay, what I need to do, and think about what they need to do. And site SRE is like, okay, how should I do it? So, and they have got SLAs and all that. So different companies requirements changes, role slightly changes here and there, but that's why you need to clearly ask them in the interviews what I will be doing and what are the responsibilities, because it is still emerging, and companies are learning how to implement them effectively. There is also expert consultants who take the entire DevOps process and automate it and teach the companies and employees how to adapt the best process, what is suitable for them. So everyone is learning. So yeah, just open to ask, and open your eyes and look at the profiles and understand how that's all these things. And about your salary, we really don't know, because it could be based on their level they are looking for, also how expertise you are and your experts, and their requirements. Obviously, if you're managing a team as a DevOps team lead, it could be higher.
Yeah, I think just to add to what Praveen said, Deepan, I think the question that you were asking was more in terms of, hey, am I valuable more as a developer or a DevOps engineer, right? So if you were to look at what Praveen explained, he essentially has explained that a development person used to do a certain task, right? But a DevOps does multiple tasks, right? And the example that I can give from our organization, that we have a DevOps team, right? Essentially, it takes responsibility for one product, as an example, and it kind of maintains it and then enhances it and then releases it, and it's the overall unit which takes care of things. So to answer your question, the relative salaries are higher for a DevOps engineer. The reason is because I'm privy to the salary structure in my organization. That's our organization's view. But if you look at it from a very simple value proposition perspective, if you get a person who's a specialist in multiple areas, so instead of hiring two people, you actually have one person or a 1.5 FT, which means that you increase the price point for that individual there. That makes sense. So yes, it's a good place to go. And then the whole thing about being trendy, the future, the new thing, then you always have it's like a fashion fad which you have. Some agile comes, everybody is an agile scrum master or an agile coach. Damn it, the amount of money that these people can command is tremendous as compared to a waterfall based project manager. The moment you have an agile project coach manager, you actually have a probably 130K is the price point we're looking at the moment. Okay, so yeah, so learn the trendy stuff because people run out of the trend. But
I'm just planning to go for this DevOps certification. I have this development background.
Yeah.
So on top of that, I'm planning to go for this one.
I would recommend, yes, Deepan. You should definitely look at the and the moment you say you've got DevOps, then you basically are differentiated in the market, and you as a product or as a person should be differentiated, and they will grab your profile and you'll get the interview call. And then what you say and how you do is we talked about the entire sequence. Okay. So
Thank you.
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, since you have, I'll just won't spend too much time on it. So the average New Zealand salary for a basic DevOps is around 85, and developer is around 65. It's just an indication. Doesn't need to be like the same. So as Prashant said, you have to do. I mean, the DevOps team does more than more than one single task, right? So they do multiple things, and that's why the value is slightly higher. And you come from background of development, I think it was a good thing to move on to that area.
You'll do it easily, and you'll be a better product in the market. You'll have a better chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you'll have to ultimately move on to DevOps and that kind of things, because companies no more have all the designations.
Exactly.
So you have to adopt to what is in the market currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. So moving on to the next one is which is
did I make a mistake, Praveen, in sticking?
There are 2 slides. Yeah.
No, I think I made a mistake. Something happened wrong.
There are 2 slides for this.
Yeah, I think I stuck in the same. Sorry, so sorry, Praveen.
Oh, okay. So you don't have the second slide, is
No,
it?
I haven't stuck it right. So sorry about that.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll how do I? Okay, I'll explain this one. Then
yeah, I think
can send you the other one.
Yeah, let's send it to the team, because we are actually run out of time.
Okay.
And
okay,
I think
cool.
we kind of covered pretty much a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Let them process it, and if need be, then we can have another session when
sure.
possible.
Sure.
Really want to get this under the way. So Swati, this is you. So this segment, guys, is about each. So the guest speakers, as we called, Sharma, Swati, Vibi, and Subit, we each of them had a similar struggle, and they are at certain point in time, of their career. So they will tell you how it is, and I'm sure you'll enter with it. Take it away.
So yes, hello. I'm Swati again. I'm just here to share my experience in New Zealand and the things that I've learned during my journey, and hopefully you can relate to it and take something out of it. So basically, I came here 2.5 years ago, and my journey in New Zealand started because it was a norm back at home to just do your higher education right after bachelor's. So it was definitely a big cultural shock to begin with, and just navigating through the entire education system here, which focused more on understanding the fundamentals. That's what I realized, and going through a lot of presentations of what you have learned, which basically helped me overcome my public speaking fear. So it's not just about by-hearting stuff and pass an exam last minute. So that's something I took away from this. And the next big thing is just budgeting and sustaining while juggling studies. I've done a lot of different roles during my studies, from being a kitchen hand to waitressing, distributing flyers, and mystery shopping. I've done all these roles throughout. And what I realize and appreciate is the people who come from all walks of life. And this is a Kiwi culture. So everyone here starts very young, even at the age of 14 and 16, even when they start working. And by this, I've realized how to be more independent and self-sufficient, really. So the next big roadblock was, as soon as I graduated, that is a month after I graduated, COVID-19 happened. And it was a very uncertain situation in my life. I was still applying for a lot of jobs during a time where the freezing of hiring was happening, and people were made redundant at that point. My family back home were very concerned, and they asked me to come right away. I remember booking for a flight on a Thursday night, and I had no plans how to pack, how to dispose all my stuff. I did all of that and booked for a flight on a Saturday. I was ready to leave, and just when I was about to, India put up a news that India is banning all the flights on that very Sunday, the day after I was supposed to leave. So if I had taken that flight at that point, I would either be stranded somewhere in Singapore, because that was my layover, or I would have been stuck in India to this date. So I decided to stay back. It was all fate. but I did. And then I had no savings at that point because level 4 lockdown was there. I did not have enough money to sustain or pay my rent. And that's when a really kind family took me in during the worst situation that I had to go through. And they were the ones who introduced me to many of these student job search groups, where many people like me were also searching for jobs. This was again in April during level 4. And I still stayed hopeful. I kept applying for a lot of jobs time after time. I got rejected. But then I realized this niche that was happening, that was the healthcare sector, which started actually rising a lot during the pandemic. I started applying for jobs very specific to that domain. That's where that's the time when I saw one of the job listing in a student group for the Health Alliance role that I'm in. So the lockdown definitely gave me enough time to prep for that. I struck an interview with them, and then they asked me to start the training right away. And I was training at a time where the offices were empty, just a bunch of us. I did not actually see most of my coworkers for the first 2 to 3 months. So somehow I just managed to make the best out of a situation, just staying positive and not giving up. And I just did not let the pandemic get the better of me because of that. So today, I get to understand the working of many clinical applications spread across all the northern DHBs in New Zealand. And I work closely with the on-site technicians in the quarantine facilities. To this date, we are in the process of streamlining the comms and the IT support for MIQ facilities. It's an ever-changing process, and we get to collaborate with the Ministry of Health for the application support that we do. So this is how basically I found the passion with health informatics. Now, the next big transition for my career is to move into a business analysis role. That's my plan. So during the last year, I had the opportunity to work with a dental clinic here. So they wanted to increase their business revenue. So understanding the New Zealand market itself and seeing their competitors, we were able to execute a business plan. Yes, so executing the business plan included automating the entire booking process. I created a responsive chatbot for all the platforms, and then we integrated that with a brand new website that we built from scratch, and taking the staff through the journey of change itself, and seeing the difference that it made really was a milestone for me. The changes that not just the clinic had to go through, but each and every individual working there, seeing the difference that it made was a great achievement for me. So the only takeaway that I can give from this is what I realized is that the IT industry here is a very tight-knit group. Everyone here knows everyone. So once you start building your contacts and get one foot in the game, it will really take you places. The reason I got a place to stay during a very stressful situation to getting this job itself, it was all because of it. So what I would recommend is always value yourself as a very good product, like what we mentioned before, and just try to find that demand or that niche where your skills can actually be used, and then keep applying for jobs. I know it's really hard, but it gets better. And like I mentioned here, applying for job itself is a job. So take your time. If there is a role out there, do not just copy and paste, and stick to that. So yeah, that's my journey. Hopefully, please come back to me if you need any help at any point, or I can answer any questions. So thank you.
Cool. Any questions for Swati?
You can get back to me later.
Gone. Okay, next, Bibi. Hey, Bibi.
Hi. So this is my journey, guys. Hello everyone. Thank you for allowing me to share my career journey in New Zealand. Once Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I believe that. My name is Vibi. Currently, I'm working in a production field in Penrose, and I'm trying to get into the IT job market again. I learned a few facts throughout my journey. Allow me to share it. I came to Christchurch in 2014 as a student. I went through a lot of struggle to land my first part-time job. At that time, I didn't know how to approach an employer or write a good CV. All I knew was one website called Student Job Search, which had a lot of vacancies, but that was not the case. Eventually, I realized the jobs are not easy to get without knowing someone who can give you a good reference. I started connecting with more people, went for meetups, and I got a part-time job after a few months. From there, I would say it was comparatively easy to get a full-time job. I learned few facts, and this is the first fact. Networking is one of the important aspects of the job hunt in New Zealand. But getting an IT job was way too far for me. I realized the job market is entirely different compared to India. I had to come out of my comfort zone, plan my days ahead, and manage time properly. I got offered some voluntary work in IT, which helped me later, but I ended up working 60 to 65 hours a week. I landed my first IT job after a few years of struggle. This is the second factor. Hardworking and time management can beat luck. But it was not for long. After a few years, I got redundant. The mistake I made was I neither looked for any other jobs nor I updated my skills with the market neither. After losing the job, I looked for IT jobs but couldn't find one, so I gave up. That was another mistake. I joined the retail management field and I got stuck there for years. Fact number 3, never settle and continuously update your skills. My visa was going to expire and I couldn't find an employer to support me, but I kept trying, spend downtime doing more voluntary work in IT. Um, that's changed the type of people around me. You guys see my career milestone. Those arrows between the job titles are and abstracting the many trials, failures, and repetitions of trying to get where I wanted to go. I realized there is a lot of more motivation and career support if you choose the right people around you. Just before my visa expires, I got another job offer and I moved to Auckland. So the takeaway from my story is resilience is important. We should take all the opportunities and be with people who can lift us mentally and career wise. All of these were external reference point for me, which helped me to refine the path I wanted to go down and push me further along a straight path. And I hope if you're making the transition too and finding that the path curves round and round, you know there is a way to get out of it. You just need to keep going. This is my experience, and I hope at least a few of you can relate. If you have any questions, feel free to come back to me. Thank you.
Oh, very good. Sorry. Oh, my bad. I'm hungry. Any questions for Vivi team? You okay?
Yeah, okay.
Cool. All right. Shama, take it away.
All right. Thank you all. I'm happy to share my story, but I'll try to make it short, right? So before I came to New Zealand, I had around like 15 plus years of experience in IT industry. So starting as a developer and then moved up the ladder to a senior management role and so on. And then I decided, hey, I want to go out and then for a new country and excel my skills as well. That's when I picked to do my MBA in New Zealand. Before I came to New Zealand, I'm quite well aware of the fact that India is a big market in terms of the job opportunities, where New Zealand is a small market. So I had already kept that in mind. However, it was quite challenging for me to get a job in New Zealand, including starting from a part-time job. We know that in IT you don't get a part-time job easily, so I'm very well aware of that factor as well. So in order to run a better life, you need to, if you do a part-time job on any other area, that would, that it will help you. And that's when I started searching a job. And it was very hard for me to find any job just sitting at home and browsing and applying for a job through an internet. It didn't work at all, right? I probably tried 50, 60 applications, nothing, and you keep getting the rejections. And I was sort of frustrated, like, what is happening? Probably I didn't understand the reality, how to, approach these sort of, part-time jobs and so on. So I got few advices from a couple of my friends. He said, like, you know what? Don't sit at home. If you're looking for a part-time job, just walk into the part-time job shops or any of this stuff, or have a chat with the meetup people and try to understand what's happening, and then you might find one. So that's what happened. That's what exactly happened to me. My first job in New Zealand was a sales guy as a car yard sales guy, right? It was a part-time one. Yeah, sweet. But then I have to step down from the top to this level. So you have to have the clear mindset to start your career from zero. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was happy, yep, fine, I'll do the sales job. But I didn't stop there to continue anything on that. Since I had experience with a lot of IT industries, like 15 plus years, your mindset works in a different way if you're a sales guy in that aspect. So I was trying to understand how the sales business or the whole career business was working and so on. I learned that, fair enough, but then through the networking, through meetup group and meeting a couple of my friends, parties and so on, there I have used the elevator pitch, right? And then I have told them, hey, you know what, this is what I was doing, this is what I can offer. And one fine day, I got a call from one of my friends' friend saying, hey, you know what, my husband's company, he's a CEO, and there is an opportunity for you to just do an IT systems manager. Are you keen? I said, wow, okay, that's a good turn. So I was still a student by then, right? I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then I met him, and then got the job. Oh, fine. I have to do everything, right? In managing the entire, you can probably call it as a DevOps or whatever. So I have to do the whole system setup, email setup, developing a website, everything I did in that company. Even a printer doesn't work, I have to go and fix it. That was the job I was doing. But I was happy because it is into somewhere close to the IT industry, right? And then also I was learning their operations. So they were happy about me. And then I got promoted to an operation manager while I was doing my still studies. And I also got a permanent role over there. But I didn't stop there. My objective is not to stay as an operation manager or IT systems. I want to get back to where I was earlier before I came to the country, right? Now I have started getting knowledge and experience, and then the market. Through the network and friends, I got an opening in the company where I'm working now, Health Alliance, as a project manager opportunity. And then I nailed it almost in the first shot. Again, thanks to my network and friends, because they helped me not only just to apply for the job, starting from fine-tuning my resume, cover letter, and then preparing myself for the job, right? And there was it almost took a couple of months for me to prepare and then crack almost 4 to 5 rounds of interview and to stay where I am today. And I'm not going to stop here. Of course, we want to grow. The growth can be different. So continue. So I have to keep continue my learning and also my networking skills again to get to the next level and so on. So that's about me. But the key takeaway for you is throw your ego, right? If you come from the top level, ready to work on, like Swati was doing a cleaning job, I was doing a sales career job. You have to do those things. Forget about where you came from. Where you are now and what you want to achieve should motivate you to reach there. And then networking. Keep networking people. Elevator pitch, as I said at the beginning, talk to people, sell yourself. You are the product for the market. Think in that angle, your perspective will change. Resilience. You will see failures, right? Never give up. Keep trying, right? You might need to try 100 times. You will still succeed. So never give up. And don't forget what Prashant talked about, the resume and cover letter, which is very, very vital. Please reach out to any one of us. We will help you with fine-tuning that on that area. Thank you. Any questions? Happy to answer. Yeah. Good. Thank you, guys.
All right. All right. Okay. We'll move on to Subit, who's the final speaker in this session. Subit, you there, buddy?
Kia ora. I believe that every individual seeks out something that inspires success. For me, success is any situation that allows me to pursue the finer things in life without the financial constraints, and this is what motivates me to work towards my goals. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Subit Benny from Kottayam, Kerala. I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication from Karanya University, Coimbatore. After my studies, like most Indian engineering graduates, I became a workhorse of the IT industry. I worked in Accenture for a period of 2 years as an associate software engineer. In 2016, I moved to New Zealand in search of greener pastures. I did a one-year postgraduate diploma in information science at Massey University. During my studies, I was selected to do the role of an assistant tutor for analytics students, and I've also worked as an intern where my primary objective was to implement a business intelligence tool for an external organization. Like any other international student, I've had my share of arduous part-time jobs, cleaning, container devamming, and fruit plucking, to name a few. In 2018, I got employed by Health Alliance as a service desk analyst. This was a fixed-term contract role for 3 months, which later turned into a full-time opportunity. In 2019, I got promoted as a senior service desk analyst, and in 2020, I worked my way up to the position of an application support analyst with a service management team. My current role involves supporting and developing a software that is used here in the New Zealand healthcare industry. As part of my role, I have worked in the COVID response team, and I've also supported the initial vaccination booking system that was used here in the Northland region. Now that you have an idea of my employment journey in New Zealand, my next endeavor is to share my experience and to tell you what I've learned from them. As most of my other fellow talkers discussed, it's the first thing that I want to discuss is the importance of networking. Although my employment sounds like a smooth transition from studies to a job, that was hardly the case. I had my share of troubles getting there. I struggled to land a job, and I wasn't even getting interview calls. I believed I had the skills, but I needed help from the society to get that breakthrough. And networking is what helped me achieve that breakthrough. Just like most of you, as part of networking, I reached out to all my friends and contacts and requested them to connect me to people who could potentially help me with my job hunt. I also started using the app Meetup, which helped me meet like-minded people from the same industry. Although this meant getting out of my comfort zone, the effort paid off. I landed my first study-related job interview through a contact that I met during a meetup. It was challenging for me to break out of my cocoon, but I knew it had to be done. And ultimately, the networking that I did helped me get my breakthrough into my current company, Health Alliance. And this happened when I only had 4 months left in my post-study work visa. My deliberate attempt to network also helped me achieve two important things that helped me through my journey. Through networking, I was meeting people whom I found successful. Listening to their stories helped me believe getting a job was not impossible, and it helped me develop a can-do attitude. Networking also helped me build a support system. By support system, I'm talking about people whom I could reach out to when I'm in need, or people who makes me feel at home in this foreign land. I believe it is vital to have the right set of people around you, to have the right attitude. One other thing that I've found helpful through my journey is the importance of taking responsibility for my actions and avoiding the blame game. There are many hurdles getting an employment in this country. Some of them might make you feel quite disadvantaged and helpless. So I took it upon myself to alter my understanding and project myself in a way which is conducive to employment. In other words, if you want to succeed in your job hunt, turn off the blame thrower. Stop blaming other people or the situation. Focus on yourself, identify your problem areas, and start working on yourself. I don't consider myself successful yet, and my journey continues. I'm still learning new things. I'm improving my skills, and I'm constantly looking out for opportunities. Which brings me to my last point, which is the importance of continuous improvement. I'm very sure my experience is not new. These experiences have been shared by many that I've met, and I'm sure you've heard them too. But I hope I was able to strike some confidence and hope in your journey to achieve your goal of landing a successful job here in Aotearoa. Good luck and thank you. And feel free to reach out if you need help from my end. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I think Vibhi, Sharma, Swati, and Subit. That's really insightful. At least if I were to put myself in the shoes of a person looking for the break, the elusive break, I think the fundamental common theme that we saw was networking, continuous improvement, learning, resilience, and so on and so forth. The problem that we usually face, team, is that we've heard these words so many times that we kind of lost the meaning of them. But they're still relevant. They're really, really relevant. They really, really, really are relevant because it's something which is, see, hard work is inevitable. That's one thing which my father told me when I was being lazy. And he said, dude, you just can't have an, shortcut to success unless, you have a rich father. But then again, you need to be smart. You need to be knowledgeable to actually take care of the wealth which he or she leaves for you, right? So everybody has had a tough journey. So when we got together as a group to do this for you, team, we all shared that common hunger to be better, to scale up, to do better than what we are currently. I wouldn't say shameless, but we're very resilient as a group. So if you want to join our gang of resilient and looking forward Indians, you have to have a minimum eligibility criteria. It's all about, and you start with saying yes, I can, right? So you have to sign up to that. We can work. We've helped. I mean, personally speaking, I think I've said this to many people. I think till date, about 24 people we have helped get a job together, and they're all Indians and from different parts of the world. I mean, we don't believe in religion, caste, and so on and so forth. We just talk about humans. Okay, so that's pretty much what we want to cover for you guys. This is the first session. We have a lot more to share, but we already took half an hour over time, but we are there for you with what we want to say. Okay. Questions, anything you want to ask? Tell us, give us feedback, team. Talk. I want to stop sharing because now we can have a chat.
So it was really helpful. So one more help is needed is that regarding that cover letter and the resume, those things.
Sure, really absolutely. Deepan, that's a given. I mean, I would have. In fact, when I was prepping for the session, I had actually shown it to the group that this is what we can do. Then I was like, too much to cover. We just wanted to see. The thing is, we really want you to understand the principles behind it. Okay. So once you understand the principles, then we can share and work with you to give the inputs which will work. The problem that I suspect many times when it happens in these sessions is that people say, "Hey, you cut the crap. Give me the gold." The problem is we give you gold, but you'll spend it, and you don't know how to make the gold. You know what I mean? We will definitely help you. Hey, we've helped so many. You are one of us, so we will definitely help you. We will definitely help you. I didn't know you yet. I mean, some of the people in the phone call I do know, but you're one of us. We'll let you succeed. We'll support you to succeed. That's a promise.
Hey, just to add to what Prashant has said, the resume and the cover letter, all those things are the end product for you to get to where you want. So the process, what Prashant has explained, preparatory work that you need to do to reach there is the most important thing. And that's why we have spent this many hours and even sharing our stories and so on, right? And once you've understood that, then if you use those tools, whatever we have in terms of preparing the resumes and cover letter, that will enhance and then give more opportunity for you to nail through that. So that's what the whole thing is.
So you all said the method how to get gold. So I have to work hard not to get the gold.
Yeah, I mean, if you like gold, it's fine. We're just talking about success. See, it's very difficult in this country. I mean, I tell people back in India and all, I say, you know what? If you have to starve in Auckland, you need $50. It's such an expensive place. And despite of being so qualified, so I mean, I'm sure you understand, Chad.
Better double in Wellington.
There you go. So you got to heat up the place, isn't it? So it's and it's so windy. So you got to have a sturdy building. It's so tough. And the thing is, we are a talented group. Indians by default are smart. We just need to tune it to the needs of this market, and we'll be good. I'm guaranteeing you that but you need to work hard. So if we work hard, we'll get those jobs. It's easy. Right? But if you don't work hard, listen to every word. We'll share. Hopefully, I'm allowed to share the presentation with you. Then you read through that again, process it. It's a lot of stuff which we have explained, and it might sound like blah, but the inherent need for us to just get on with it. Oh, I don't have time to do all this. Let me just do a copy paste. It's okay. We'll see it tomorrow. But that tomorrow never comes. We are talking about changing habits as well. Make sense? Are we making sense? Are we there? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Deepa, Divya, you've been awfully quiet, and that worries me actually many times. It's either we are super boring, or we are not at all, or you are sleeping already.
Not at all, just listening carefully.
So
Hi, hi, hello.
yes,
Can
we
you
can hear
hear
you.
that?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
sorry, I'm in my shift,
You're at
so
work.
I
Yeah,
took a
yes.
small break.
Sure.
I just have a question because I have a long gap, like more than 10 years from my like bachelor's, and I've completed my IT graduation here. So I do have a question like this gap, will it affect while going for the interviews or to get a job in New Zealand?
So can I take that question? Or Praveen, you want to take a
Yeah.
question? Can I take the question? Praveen, you're there?
Sorry, I didn't listen fully.
Okay.
Is it the gap?
Yeah.
Or you have some gap after the first job?
Yeah,
but
no, because I don't have any work experience. I was just looking after my children and family. So the question is actually, I have a huge gap. So will it definitely? I think it will definitely affect my career, but I don't know exactly how New Zealand works, because in India maybe it's a negative thing, but I'm not sure whether in New Zealand but right now, before actually, I was planning to go to cloud computing area, but I know Prashant knows that because I've contacted him before. But now actually I'm doing a small internship in data analysis as part-time. So I know the thing I was thinking about, like I opted cloud computing because I could learn something new in that. But then I came to know that I'm actually interested in mathematics. So in data analysis, actually, I got that opportunity to get into the SQL programming side. And so I'm just right now I'm learning Excel at home, and I'm doing a part-time internship as well in data analysis. So what I am asking is, my previous gap and the internship right now I'm doing for the next 3 months. So will it help me to get a good job in New Zealand? And the gap which I was having previously, does it affect to get the job? That's what I'm asking.
So your
during
previous
this
job was on the same field, or is it?
No, I haven't worked after my graduation back in 2007. So
Oh, that's not
that
a
is my question.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is not an issue if you're not worked. That should not be an issue anyway. The new job you're trying to find is on a different area anyway. So you're trying to learn that. So that should be fine. I think there is nothing bad in the gap here. People will look at the skills they want. So it should not be an issue, at least at this market. It's not definitely an issue. It's just stick to what you're doing. Try to try to get the interviews, and try to continue the internship until you get a job.
Okay. So after completing the internship, because I don't have any idea how to do an interview, like I have to present myself in an interview. So I'm really confused. So I'm planning to join you guys after completing my internship. My internship complete in November. So maybe after that,
I got a
yeah,
question
you
for
all
you.
guys will
I
help.
got a question for you. Can I just interrupt you? Sorry. See,
Yeah.
we're all busy people. Okay, so as human beings, we always say we are busy. Okay, And so my question, so there are a few things which I want to point out to you today. Okay, first, good decision. Data analysis is a very good field, and we talked about it. One of the top 10 skills which is needed, and you got a mathematics background, brilliant. It works. Now, and please do not feel bad about the fact that you spent 10 years of after studying of your life taking care of family. That's something which men really can't do. Okay, so hats off to you. Please feel proud of it. New Zealand is a country which is the first country in the world to actually agree for the women's demand to be able to vote, 1893, women's suffrage, right? So that means that it is one of the most progressive countries in terms of women's rights. Okay. So and the reason I'm saying this is because when I received a resume for a lady who actually very clearly wrote, hey, Prashant, I was taking care of my family of 3 kids. We said, okay, so what do you know? So we looked at her qualifications and we looked at her experience and we interviewed her. Don't take it as a disqualification. If you start taking it as a disqualification, it will project when you start talking to any prospective employer.
Okay.
When you have to market yourself, so you have management skills. Taking care of kids is such a difficult task. Ask me, I've got 2. I lost half my hair because of that. Okay, so on a serious note, it's an incredible job. India is different. Forget it's not India. India does not have many of those human, appreciations which at least a woman should have, right? So don't do that. Don't ever feel underconfident, please.
Yeah, sure.
Is it Divya? Do you want to forward your resume to me after this?
Yeah, but the only thing is that right now I'm learning, so I don't have enough skills to show. I have just beginning learning SQL, and I have learned a few of it, like Power BI, but I'm not advanced. So
Okay.
need some more time.
Yeah.
Maybe
So why I asked is our company was looking for the same area, but I'm not sure if they are really looking for experienced people at the moment.
Okay.
So there were talks about getting freshers into the organization. So that's why I thought if I know I have your resume that I can give to the right people and ask if there is anything.
Yeah, that's fine. I can prepare a resume and I can just forward to you. No problem there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So one thing we need to do, Divya, is so you said, oh, I will connect with I'll join you in 3 months. So my question is, what else are you doing in 3 months besides shaping up your career? What are you doing? So I don't. Do you have your family here, or are you living alone?
No. Actually, my family is not here, but right now I am working on the job. So after the job, night time I'm spending for studies, and so I have to manage both.
Divya, we've all heard hard stories. When I did my master's, I haven't slept for 2 nights because I had to clear my accounts exam. I had my 2 kids and a dog and everything. So we all have a tough. The reason I'm saying, and this is for everybody to listen, is the job market quietens around November because everybody starts stopping hiring because you typically go into December, January.
Yeah, and that's what. So I can actually learn a few more. Hello.
Do now. Yeah. Divya, we can hear you.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is you should engage with us. Look at Praveen as a point of contact for the opportunity. Train with us in terms of doing good interviews. Because personally speaking, I've had an opportunity to do some mock interviews for one of the people in the room, and we had a very harsh round because the person was so much in the comfort zone and got annoyed. And the one thing which we did was we recorded the interview.
Okay.
The reason we do the recording is that the person can actually reflect on it in her own, personal spaces to what the hell happened, and then map it to all the things which we talked about in the session today. The reason we recorded it because you can listen to it again. Yeah. Please do that. Don't waste time, because if the borders open in 6 months, then you become a product which is not of value to them. There will be an influx of people because people find New Zealand so attractive.
Yeah.
No COVID, yeah, enjoy. I mean, people just want to have, we can breathe and drink and eat. So time is essence, guys. Please do not waste time. Accelerate from. So today, if you had a plan to actually go party and have a biryani or a beer or a cognac or whatever, is your choice of poison, choice of poison. Stop. Think about what to discuss. Do not waste time. Invest it.
So yeah, yeah. So I was about to discuss about data science skills. So I can make you talk to the right people for you to start learning if you are not confident to attend interviews at least.
Yeah, it will be helpful. I'm also I'm also in search of a very good an online platform to learn more about SQL and Power BI as well. I have made a long search like in YouTube videos and LinkedIn learning as well. So I'm just going through all those things. I'm just practicing the SQL query in the beginning, and Power BI, actually, I have done a small project in my course. So that's the basic thing I have learned from Power BI. So still I am used to it.
Do you
So I
know
have more, I
any
should more
programming
confidence
languages?
in that.
Sorry.
No, I don't have any background
Okay.
of any
Yeah,
programming
maybe
languages.
Python and R programming is commonly used for data science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So other than SQL, I have to learn Python or R language you're telling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's, yeah, a couple of them, but these two are popular. Python is
Oh,
obviously,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, fine,
So
fine.
one of the
Okay.
things which I can suggest to you, Divya, is, and this is probably important for everybody else, is um, get into a job. Okay. So
Okay.
sometimes, see, data science is a very niche area in my view. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for the reason I'm saying this is, in my team, there's a data scientist. Okay. She's a
Okay. Okay.
doctorate in data engineering from University of Auckland. And she's actually a superstar in terms of how much data churn she does for us in a workspace program. And this is an example. So what I'm trying to emphasize is take small steps, get into an organization. For example, I mean, ADHP, which is Auckland District Health Board, they have a business analytics team. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so they have had so many people they have left the organization because the banks are hiring data analysts, the corporates are hiring data analysts. So they're stuck with people who they don't have people, and they need people who can process Excel. They can process SQLs and all, but you need to be good at that. Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
start that. Don't go for, I suggest, don't go for the top notch, especially when you don't have an experience there. Start slow.
Yeah.
But if it's
Okay.
let's say we talked about Subish, right, as an example. So Subish actually has got programming experience. So for him, the jump and the ability to convince the interviewer that he can do it will not be as much as you would have. I'm not
Yeah.
discouraging. I'm telling you a
Yeah. Yeah.
logical step here.
Yeah.
And rest is your hard work. So, and push yourself harder and harder. Trust me, you don't need 8 hours of sleep every night. Between
Yeah. I'm not
No, no,
actually.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
not having.
No, no, I'm just saying. Hey, and it's important. This is your struggle stage, Divya.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
your struggle stage.
Yeah.
Please
I know. I know. Yeah.
sleep
I'm
only
ready
after
to
you
hard work for that. Yeah. Yeah.
do it, and think logically. We will give you a mock interview. Don't worry about it. I'll get you connected with the data scientist, like Praveen said. No worries there. But what
Okay.
happens is you have to have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So data scientist is it's probably a 3-year goal for you, in my view. Sorry, I'm just saying, because data science is a very complicated piece. I'm not
Yeah.
discouraging. I'm being realistic here. The reason is I've seen and spoken and sat down with the data, and she starts talking, and I switch off. I said, Hoda, can you please tell me what I should do from a management perspective? That's all I do. Hoda is that's the name of the day. She's from Malaysia. So
Okay.
have those small, get into a health alliance or a ADHP or a unit where they have many more roles.
Okay.
Right? That's the step you should
Yeah.
get your foot in. Because if you don't get the foot in the next 6 months, 8 months, or before the market opens for the entire world, then you will have a struggle, because You'll have pressures on your work visa thingy, and then you'll have. Right now, we as an organization, we are even wavering off many things in terms of, being only stuck with a citizen or a resident, because we don't have people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So be very tactical. Take steps in very with stay hungry. Be hungry. Be aggressive.
Yeah, sure.
You want to cry, you go to the shower, there's a lot of water there, add your tears there. No problem. Cry, don't worry about it. But fight it hard, because it's a great country to be in. Trust me, we made it a home. It's a beautiful country to be in. All the sacrifices that you made for your family, your husband and kid, they are in the Middle East. It's such a pain, Divya. I can understand. We can understand. But for that, you need to really be there. You're the one who's going to change the fate of your family.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so be in touch. We'll help you, but you just need to be very, very tactical. If you have
sure.
tall targets, then you actually have to jump that much higher. Check in if you have that much energy, or you have, little bit lower targets. I suggest have that, and then you go. Especially if you have that whole inexperienced things and all. That's something we should play to them.
Okay.
Did it help? I was not discouraging, Divya. I was being very.
No. I understand. Totally, I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Divya, my only advice is, I think Prashant and Praveen spoke a lot about it. My only advice is narrow down your path, which technology or whatever you wanted to do, because like we say, business, BI, it is a big area. So narrow down, like if you want to do a Power BI, or if you want to do any other technology, just get certified. Remember, I told you in the beginning, if you get certified, that adds more value, even if you do not have experience, right?
Okay.
And then people, Praveen and Prashant, can help you to nail down in which area, where you can place your resume and whom you can contact and so on, right?
Yeah.
So that's my only piece of advice.
Okay.
Yeah. And be confident. And be confident. Huh? Don't lose your confidence. That's more important. Because if you're not confident, that will be
Marketing.
in your,
you can't market, no?
Yeah, you can't market.
See, the thing is, we can try to get you an interview. That's fine. But out of perform, then it at least shuts your door, not for us. It's okay for us, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, I know.
So you got to really be prepared, and we can validate it for you, because, as I said, I'll get in touch with a BI person. You name the technology, we can get somebody to validate. Project management, ask Sharma the question. Service management specialization, ask Subit the question. Swati can do a switch between a service desk analyst, and I know she can do a BA thing. Testing. VB is trying to be there. You want cybersecurity, I'll get somebody from cybersecurity. We've got people working there. Prasha, I want to connect to you, man. You have to show them that they are going to spend time for some value in return, right?
Yeah.
Somebody sensible. Now tell me what to do. That doesn't work. Experiential learning, they say the experience and learn. They have to work hard. Right? When a child cries in India, the mom goes and the papa goes and everything goes. They'll put it in the room, and the child will learn how to not to cry. Tough luck. Be harder, tougher.
Okay.
No more preaching.
Thank you so much.
No, it's all good.
Sorry, I finished break. That's why.
No. You go. No, we need to.
Thank you so much, guys.
It's all right.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Final few moments. We got 3 hours. Have to. Yeah. Go for it, Krishna. Sorry.
How to ask Subit Benny, if I'm not wrong. Off topic, but I'm curious how you improve your pronunciation skill. But when he started to say something, it was like boom, awesome thing. It was like, I'm very curious how to, yeah.
Thanks for that. No, I haven't. I'm planning to join Toastmasters soon. I think it's probably the experience in New Zealand. Some of the jobs that I've done demanded me to work talk in a certain way, because I've been in a sales role where I primarily was talking to customers in Australia through a phone call, and you have to sound a certain way to be more convincing, or to get that sales. So basically, my need probably made me talk in a certain way.
So because yeah, I like that very much. One of the thing I'm struggling right now, you know, if I'm not taking much time, I'm just sharing a situation because currently I'm working in trade me where there is hardly Asians. To be frank, I can say maybe 1 or 2 Indians in the total in trade me in Wellington, nearly like 1,000 employees here. So what I'm struggling here is understanding their pronunciation. I'm getting somewhat, but the thing is, the jokes they are saying, I'm not able to understand why they are laughing around me. Now I'm somewhat getting. Now I'm trying to get a situation where I can make a joke to laugh. Make laugh them. So I'm very curious about that, Kata.
Yeah. So I think when you start getting exposed to things like this, you'll eventually learn. So right now you're getting exposed to people talking around you, and then you understand things. So I think with time you get it, and then definitely put in some effort from your end. Maybe listen to the radio, watch English movies, talk to people out here. Get out there and get out of your comfort zone. Talk to people who are Kiwis. You'll start learning their language with time.
Awesome. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other final questions?
Have a Kiwi guy as your roommate. You will naturally grow.
Or a girl for that matter, if that's their choice. Well, to each his own. Hey, we got. We'll just do 60 more seconds. Any final questions from you guys, or if not, after 60 seconds, we need feedback from you. What are the areas of improvement for us? What is it that you need more from us? And then we can, obviously, Indu from AMHS is listening quietly, and we can plan after that. So 60 seconds for questions, and after that, we need feedback from you guys, please. We need feedback because this is our maiden attempt, and we want to.
I'm sorry. I have one question. If anyone else have?
No, carry on. After that, I will ask.
No. You can do.
No, actually, I'm really happy to meet you people, and at least some like to get these kind of things, like to know about this networking, these kind of things. And also, I'm pretty confident of getting one good job and all. I'm just trying to achieve myself, and I'm pushing myself, learning new things and all. So, and on top of that, I'm getting these valuable suggestions from your side. So, once again, really thank you.
Can I
I
ask
don't
you a
want
question,
to, like,
Deepak?
any other feedback I don't want to give. Like,
so can I ask you a question, guys? I mean, so the panel has always had its video on. Why didn't you guys switch your video on? It's marketing, isn't it?
I'm sorry that I'm not in a situation where I can turn on my video right now. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay. No problem.
And like I'm in my car. I'm driving.
That's right. Hello.
I was just listening to the talks.
Yeah. Good to see. Aarti. So yeah, it's all right. Deepa, you want to ignore us? There you go.
No.
See, you're all pretty people.
I checked, but only the panels were visible. All others was just
Why?
yeah. So I also
Do we bite? We can't bite you through this. See, it's very important to have the visual thing. Otherwise, when you send if I were to walk into some place in Auckland, I wouldn't know who Sharon is. I wouldn't know who Deepan is. Yeah, I won't know who Vishnu is. There you go, Vishnu. You finally managed to, come in. Brilliant.
Yeah, good to see everyone, actually. Yeah.
Good to see. Actually, I mean, that's one way of marketing. There you go, Sujit.
Hi.
So Bish is back. Hey, Aarti. I know you for sure. How are you, beta?
I'm good, Uncle. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Hi, Aarti.
All right.
At least everyone is awake, which is good.
There you go.
Great way to end, seeing everyone.
So Bish, you're the only one left. Oh, I switched on earlier. Remember that? Yeah. That's
Hello,
good.
Veena.
Hi, Swati.
All right. So feedback around the table, please. We really need that feedback. So we'll go as per my screen. Okay, so start with Pratibha.
You're on mute, Pratibha.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I like the giggle. I love the giggle. Thank you. Let's go. Come on.
Thank you so much for the section, and it was very useful. And I already had a lot of advice from Prashant to how to do the resume, and also Swati helped me to get to know all the tools, and it was very helpful. And I'll be keep in touch, and I'll always keep disturbing you all, and I'll keep learning, and I'll tell the things which I learned to improve my skills and put in my resumes and also in cover letter. Thank you so much. It was helpful for me.
Sorry, somebody was ringing my phone. So Sharon, I see you next on the one. Can you tell us what do you think?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh yeah, cool. Hi, thank you so much, guys. I'm not into IT. Prashant knows me already, and I'm into banking. But however, I see all your experiences and as a really potential insight for everyone in any industry, and especially the struggle we all share. As I'm a Pratibha, in fact, Pratibha is actually my wife, and we struggle as a family together. But it more often we got the gist of what we supposed to. Here, my friend comes. Sorry. We get the gist of what to do and what not to do, and also a clear explanation for how to progress in our career in New Zealand. So thanks to the panel and to everyone who asked really good questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So if you don't want to tell us about our improvement areas in the forum, you can always reach out to us via emails and whichever way you want to. Please do. We want to improve, and that's not for you, but it's for us, right? So that's the self.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Thanks very much.
Cool.
Hey, before the next one, I just asked this question in a slightly different way because you are, if you are shy to share the feedback. Okay, what was did we meet our expectations, or you had come up with something in your mind, and we have not delivered that today?
Good question.
Well, is it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see. I mean, to be frankly, I was actually asking for tools to square off because I was thinking something will be common around New Zealand, but that was answered, and then you guys have explained what are the tools that the IT guys might need. But apart from that, I don't really have anything in particular that you guys haven't covered. I can see that you guys covered almost all portion of it. If anything comes out, obviously this is a quite common thing in meeting when questions asked. Nobody will have a question in their mind, but as soon as you switch, cut off the call, you will have like thousands in your mind. I'll probably come up with those via email to you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, cool. And Pratibha, you had something that in your mind, which did you think we have answered it?
Yeah, I already answered everything. As for myself, it's about the tools, and already my husband asked about that. So it was very full, and we'll keep working on it. And so if any questions comes on, we'll email to you, and we'll ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Network, which is good.
Yeah. Can I also request if you guys can all share email IDs, especially the group who attended this session, right? I missed to collect that in the form. So it will be great. Like I can share it with the core team as well. And you guys can communicate, and yeah, we can share the resume or whatever Prasanji wants to share to the whole group.
So what I can do is definitely what I can do is let's make it simple. Okay. I'll put in my email address into the chat on the Zoom chat, and then you can just send it to me, and I can send that through to Indu for collation. Is that okay? Make sense? Okay, cool. Right. So we've had Vishnu. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I'll say first. I just want to say one thing. Please copy this presentation's email ID right now, because when the call disconnect, it will disappear. So you can't take it after that. Yeah. I like few of the things very much. First of all, the experience that some of them had, how they meet up, mitigate, and how they reach that level. I like this very much, and I really like, the scope of IT, or what will be the best careers or things the study shared. I like that very much. I felt could have been better if uh, the whole thing was cut down to 2 sessions like that, because I felt this is too much stuff. Keeping in mind your efforts that you put together for keeping this much stuff. I'm agreeing, saluting, but I felt it could have been 2 sessions, or maybe cut down, so that it will be little bit more breathe time for listeners like me.
So we recorded this, so we'll
Yeah,
upload it.
yeah.
We'll upload it, and you can actually take
Yeah.
as much as a time as you want to learn. No, we don't want to do it again.
No, not
We got busy lives too, Vishnu. No, I'm just
yeah,
it's a valid. Even when we were doing this, we were also thinking, is it too much? We do.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is that I think at least we have 10 people still on. That's what we are thinking. We thought we will just be the 6 of us discussing something at the end. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm taking this time to thank you each and everyone to make this stuff together. That's kind of heavy headache. I know,
Yeah,
how much I struggle to make a cover letter for myself. It's kind of a big thing. I'm taking this time to thank and admire you guys, each and everyone. Like, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Waiting for the continuous session, probably.
Yeah, you need to. So once you send the email addresses through, I'll send it off to Induji, and then she will direct us from there on. Okay.
Awesome.
Happy to help. So
thank you.
Subish, hey, thanks, man. Subish, over to you, man.
താങ്ക് യു. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ സ്പീക്കേഴ്സിനും സ്പെഷ്യൽ താങ്ക് യു ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്തതിന്. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവർക്കും, ഇപ്പോൾ ന്യൂ കോമേഴ്സ് ആണെങ്കിലും എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ളവർക്കും അവർക്കൊരു എൻകറേജ്മെന്റും ആണ്, ഒരു പുതിയ നോളജും ആണ് അവർ പിന്നെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാതെ. ഇതൊക്കെ ഇതെല്ലാവരും കേട്ടത് തന്നെയായിരിക്കും, ഞാനും കേട്ട കാര്യങ്ങൾ തന്നെയാണ്. പക്ഷെ അത് ഒന്നോടെ കേട്ട് പിന്നെ നമുക്കൊരു എൻകറേജ്മെന്റ് കിട്ടി രണ്ടാമത് പിന്നെ റീഅപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാനോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ രണ്ടാമതൊരു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പോയിന്റ് പോലെ ഇതെല്ലാവർക്കും യൂസ് ചെയ്യാം. പിന്നെ ടെക്നിക്കലി ഇപ്പൊ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ഞാനൊരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ഇപ്പൊ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് മാത്രമാണ് ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പൊ അതിനിപ്പോ ഒരു ഹെൽപ്പായിട്ട് ഇപ്പൊ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ആരെങ്കിലും ഒരാളെ ഒരു ട്യൂട്ടറോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു മെന്റർ പോലെ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കോർഡിനേറ്റർ പോലെ കിട്ടുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാവർക്കും, ഇപ്പൊ ടെസ്റ്റർ ആണെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് ഒരാളെ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു മെന്റർ പോലെ കൊടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഐഡിയ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ബെറ്റർ ആവാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഐ മീൻ ഇപ്പൊ എന്റെ രീതിയിൽ ആലോചിക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്കൊരു ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് വേണം എന്ന രീതിയിലാണ് ഞാൻ ആലോചിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോ പക്ഷെ ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് പോയിന്റ് വേണം, എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണം എന്നൊരു ഐഡിയ കിട്ടില്ല. നമുക്ക് ഓൺലൈൻ നോക്കിയാൽ കിട്ടും, പക്ഷെ ഒരു മെന്റർ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഫുൾ ടൈം മെന്റർ എന്നല്ല, ഒരു വൺസ് ഇൻ എ മന്തോ അങ്ങനെ ഒരാള് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആയിരുന്നു.
Not true, very true. And I think we are all capable of doing that. So, for example, development, infrastructure. The only question that I will always ask the person asking for help is, how much are you willing to commit? The reason is because in my experience, I've connected people to some of my SME friends. ഒരു bad habit ഉണ്ട് നമ്മൾക്ക്. We will load on to that person, and the person will get so annoyed. I'm not talking about you, Subish. I'm just talking. And then so what we do is we validate whether you really can do with a help or not. So we check with your ability to respond to our demands. So sometimes we will stop responding to you because we want to see how hungry are you. You know what I mean? If you're not hungry enough, then we will not feed you, is the thing. So this is something, the 24 which I talked about, everybody is in a very good position in terms of having learned the basics, and they're still progressing and they're on. So all we do is we say, for example, Subit, if you heard his story, in 3 years, he's actually gone through 3 different roles because he's really hungry guy. But the first conversation we've had, it was a very harsh conversation. The first question we asked is, who the hell are you? So that's where we break your, spirit in terms of needing to learn the basics in New Zealand. And once you do that, then we are confident that you not waste the other person's time. Because നമ്മുടെ reference പോരടോ സുബിഷേ. We are referring to somebody. അപ്പോൾ അവനും ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഒരു friend, it's a girl who's actually, data scientist. For example, if Divya say, I want to talk to a data scientist, I'll say, okay, Divya, what are you going to be? What's your plan? You tell me what you're thinking. Then we'll connect to them. Don't worry, we have enough in the armory. We have so many people. You name an IAS, cloud enterprise architect is a good friend. Integration MuleSoft, we got people. That's fine. They can all tell. But the question is, how much are you willing to invest? The problem is when you say, oh, tell me what. Then the reason is you're not worked hard enough to make a plan out of it. And this session was meant only to give you that stimulus. And because somebody asked, hey, you know what, so tell me that sample resume. I said, have you understood what the plan is? And from a resume perspective, you first read that, understand, then let's talk about it. We'll talk. I'll give my number to anybody. It's always published. But similarly, but I would be very, cautious if I have to share Sharma's number or Subit's number or Swati's number or Praveen's number for that matter. You got to value the person's time because we are busy with our lives as well.
True. ഞാനത് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ജനറൽ ആയിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു. അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്, വൺസ് ഇൻ എ മന്ത് എങ്കിലും ഒരു അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഐഡിയ ആണല്ലോ, അതായത് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു സജഷൻ ആണ്.
Okay, no problem. No. So Deepa is next, so we'll just quickly wrap it up.
I was feeling very lucky to get this opportunity to be a part of this session, and thank you each and everyone for taking this effort. And the thing which attracted me the most is like the experiences which the speakers told, like their hardships and the things which they came through, and that was really a motivation. Like I felt like what I'm going through, so the things they were discussing, so felt a bit happy after hearing that. Understood that I will also get through all these things and I will also get my dream job. So thank you very much. Really appreciating the efforts of the AMHS group and all the mentors. Thank you, and looking forward to attend the next sections.
Excellent. Hey Deepan, you're next on my screen, sir.
Myself?
Yes, Deepan. Yeah.
No, I have so told 2 times. I was really happy to attend this session, and I told you have provided how to achieve the goal. So hardworking is the main thing, and if you don't know anything, start learning from today onwards. And one more point I can stick: 8 hours sleep. I don't prefer that 8 hours sleep. Hardworking. So that's it. So also I look forward for some other good session. I mean, some other sessions in the future.
Cool. So we can do focus sessions. We can do very focus sessions as well. For example, business analysis. I can do a deep dive business analysis session. Sharma, if he's free, he can do a project management session, and so on and so forth. So we can do specific.
Continue.
No, go for it.
No, Subit was telling he was into development, so I wish to know. I would like to know, he's which language he's doing.
I don't think I mentioned development, but yes, I've done a bit of development. I'm familiar with using C, C++. I've used Python. I'm into data analysis, so I've learned Python as part of my education. I've worked with C and C++, and quite a bit of languages.
Yeah, okay. I thought.
Thank you.
All right. So, Arthi, the youngest in the gang. Come on.
Hi, I just like to thank everyone for like taking the time out of the day to like talk to us about the sessions, and also Indujeji for helping organize all this. I found most useful the parts about with the CV and cover letter sections, which I thought was really helpful. You covered a lot of the questions that I had, and also the part where you mentioned a lot of the tools and like platforms and stuff that are really popular right now in the tech industry, like about the cloud computing and the DevOps things. I found that really useful to know like what all is out there to know and what's popular right now. So yeah, I found that really helpful.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, would you want any more sessions after this in detail
But yeah,
sessions?
for sure, I'd be keen to join any
Cool.
more sessions that you guys organize.
Cool. You need to tell that to us so that we can start working on that. All right. Cool. Communication is the key, as I said. Networking, communication. Divya, you're next on.
Hello. Actually, I missed a few of the session, but I'll definitely go through the recording.
Yeah, you can.
Because and the whatever things I've heard, it is really helpful and related to the CV and resume. But I actually recommend Prashant Ayrton for doing a BI session as well, because it will be a helpful session for me as well. Maybe the other people who are interested in data analysis field. So
So we
I'm
can
also expecting more sessions in future.
So what we can do is, see, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's actually an infrastructure project manager. Okay, so he's a PM, and he called me in the morning. He said, "Dude, what are you up to?" I said, "Hey, I'm doing this session for the community." And he said, "Hey, do you need me to speak about it?" So we got people who said, so we can have topical sessions, but again, we need to make it worth the person's time, because if it plan and then you don't turn up, because we had about 17, 18 people supposedly going to come in. But we found about 12 or 13 who joined, which is okay, which is a good number, because our threshold was 10. And if we were less than 10, I told Induji, I said, we're going to cancel. Because see, between us, we spent about 18, 20 hours for the session, putting it all together, and so on and so forth. So it is a lot of hard work, and we are actually sacrificing our family time for you, for you as individuals. So I find it very disrespectful when people don't turn up, And I did tell Induji, if it's people don't turn up, we will disengage, because I have requested all of these guest speakers to sacrifice their time, 3 hours, 4 hours, and we did late night sessions and so on. So just to put this all together. So please be empathetic about our sacrifices. It's a request, and respect that time, and otherwise we will disengage. Right. So please do that. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I
Last
just
but
wanted to add on to something. So we initially planned a face-to-face session. We were thinking of doing a face-to-face session, but the whole reason, like, we didn't go for it because we were not sure of the turnout. So we thought we'll do this first and see like how people, how people are interested and all that, and then we'll proceed. So I think the turnout here was pretty good. Like 15 people had responded initially, and then I think we had around 12 13 people at some point of time in this call. Now I think a couple of them have dropped out. So it's pretty good. I think we are, yeah, I think we should, hopefully we will have more sessions coming up in the future as well, and more other industries as well. Yeah, so let's, yeah, fingers crossed we'll have more sessions coming up. Thanks, guys. Carry on, please.
Last but not the least, Veena. Hey, Veena is actually a colleague of ours, actually.
Yeah, hi. I know Prashant and Swati here. Yeah, I've just joined Health Alliance. It's just 3 days now.
So Veena is one of the successful attempt from our side too. So between Swati and I, we
Yeah.
tag team and got her the break. So
Yeah.
it was a very interesting one, because we actually, it was just by chance that Veena sent me a message, and then we looked at her resume. Swati reviewed it late at night at 9:45 while she was sleeping, I think, and then we ended up actually doing it. Then what I did was I spoke to the hiring manager in the back end. We kind of pushed and prodded and so on and so forth, and we made that space for her. So that's the power of networking. The one thing which we did was I kind of stalled Veena's application, because I was not sure whether she's hungry enough for that. So then she came back and she said, "By the way, I'm from the same school as you." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, here you go." And alumni, no, from Delhi. So we were from the same school. So that was good enough. So that's networking again, because that's something for me to motivate. So she's working with us, and hopefully she moves up the chain, and she's in service desk. So Divya, that's something which I would suggest as well. Have a look at that. Okay. There are many other roles which are there. Try to get into that role, which is probably not the data science or the top-notch role, and then you can move up, because Health Alliance has got anything under the sun in terms of technology. DevOps, somebody talked about DevOps. You got cybersecurity. You got
Testing.
Testing. Yeah, testing is a big unit. So I was going to talk to you about that, Vishnu. So send us a resume. I'll talk to the capability manager. He's a friend of mine. So we'll see if you're a suitable product, which is if you have the right skills, I'll send you the test analyst role description, and you do what we told you today, and we'll let's see what happens from there. They desperately need a testing analyst now. So there you go.
Also on the integration space.
Yeah, integration. Yeah. So Mule integration. We've got so many jobs in the market, man. This is the right time, guys. Work harder. Right.
Any idea when the borders will be opening?
No, so it's a good question, Deepan. So we did, we get a briefing as for hiring managers and some of the leadership. We get briefing from the immigration department. So the HR meets them, and some of the HR people call us because we keep on saying we need more people. So they told us it is not going to happen anytime. That's immigration. Okay, so that's not me. It's immigration telling me. Okay. They're saying not anytime soon. We're having more and more trouble. Wave 3 and so on and so forth, unless until we have a vaccination regime, which is covering most of New Zealand. But the problem is we have Delta variants and Lambda variants. So if you read the news, we've had a person who was fully vaccinated with Pfizer caught the Delta variant and died. So obviously we don't know the details, must be having some pre-existing conditions. But they say not anytime soon. But do you want to trust your luck with that? No. Accelerate. Right, that's me. I will shut up. Induji, you want to wrap up the session, please?
Yeah, sorry. So you'll hear a little bit of background noise. The kids are running around. So just to wrap up the session, all I want to say is, as I said, fingers crossed, we'll have more sessions in the future. And we'll plan something definitely for other industries as well. So, thanks again, Prashantji, Praveen, the whole team, Vibi, Swati, who I don't know who I've forgotten, but
Sharma and Subit.
Sharma and Subit, yeah. So thanks to the whole team for actually taking this time out. As Prashantji said, they have really invested a lot of time. They sent me, I think, two drafts, couple of last week and then one this week, and they have done the whole pre presentation and everything. So it was a very well prepared session, and nothing it was really good. So thank you guys again for organizing this, and thank you all the participants for joining, and hope to see you all again for future sessions as well. And I just wanted to add, I'm not trying to advertise anything here, but basically when we hold other events as well, right, which is maybe not related to job specifically, please do try to attend. I can see Prashantji laughing there, but then the reason I'm saying that is because it helps with the networking as well there. Even if it's within the community. So yeah, try to make it to the other events as well. Hoping to see you all soon. And Pratibha, I'll see you tomorrow for the dance. We are there. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, DH, I'm in Wellington. Sorry.
I can understand, but try to come for Onam at least.
I'll try, Gigi, I'll try.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you
Yeah,
all.
good
Thanks.
evening.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you all. See you.
Bye.
Thank you.